I think that's going to bode well, obviously, for the shorts. I'm already looking at that BM&R trend down, and if this breaks trend up, then I'll be short BM&R. And it is 11, and I know we had this thing where we try to throw over Joe's request as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we're 20 seconds over.
We're 20 seconds over. Let's go. We got Obi and Joey options. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. Good luck, everybody.
Yo.
A bunch of punctual individuals once again, right on time, man. You gotta make sure. Of being punctual, Obi, we will be sure to end things 5 minutes early because that's when you're supposed to typically show up, right? A little bit early,
Yeah,
15 minutes early.
15, yeah, that's what I was told.
So
I was told
the boys are ready by 1:45.
So that's completely fine. I mean, me and Neil are down for going on early. It's just we need to. These people weren't privy to the discussions. Like, Joe wants as much airtime as possible.
He's been asking for it every day.
So Joe, has something changed in this request, or?
This is wild. No, nothing's changed, brother. I'm just making sure. I know you guys want equally as much airtime as well.
No. We're publicly saying the floor is yours, Joe. We are.
Did you?
No.
Email?
Neil and I, being the elderly statesmen around here, we need our midday naps. We need as much rest time as possible.
I gotta eat.
We gotta eat. Neil's got to have a couple portions of tilapia.
So 2 hours and 45 minutes is what I heard you guys exactly need, and then you're going to be right on time for what?
Yeah, Joe, we can rework the salary and figure that out, and get it back into the right.
For who?
You want to put in on this?
Let me guess. Cut my mic now. Okay.
Get this guy out of here.
Joe, lots of fun. See ya, get me out of here.
Welcome, guys. I hope everyone had a fantastic holiday weekend.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, a lot going on. Hopefully you didn't indulge in too much chocolate and have to burn it off at the gym. Nonetheless, even if you are going to do that, I hope you had a fantastic time with family, eating plenty of food. Here in Toronto, it was 27 degrees, it felt like, on Friday. And then the next day, it dropped down to like 8 degrees. Absolutely insanity and bipolar type weather here in the city. Obi, once again, joining me for a couple more days. Happy to have him. How was the weekend? What are you looking at here today?
Weekend was pretty good. Honestly, I'm recovering, man. I had a bachelor party on Friday and Saturday. I'm still recovering from that.
Yo, that's what happens.
Yeah, no, I know. It was crazy, wild times. A lot of good fun with good friends as well. So busy weekend for me. Didn't really get out too much. Yeah, high school friends.
Nice.
It was really nice. We had some nice dinner at the place. Shout out to the chef, man. He was just cooking
it up.
He was just cooking fresh. It was like a tapa style type of thing.
Okay.
So we were getting food all night long.
Nice, man.
It was pretty solid. Great food there.
You know what we didn't do here, Obi?
What's up?
It's
what did we
roll
not
call.
Do? Okay, all right.
See, we got Dancing Darwin always in the chat. Others think Blackhawk. We have Bot Riggs. I don't know why I tell them it's a bot. Joshua Langren, what up? Pizza Gang. Boom. Tony, Mike P. the Rider, Jody Mills. What's going on? I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Christmas. We got Michael P. Roger Noonan, Durant Gordon, Cool Brochet. Mike Peter Ryder in the chat a whole lot, as he typically is. Trader64, Jay Sione, and who else? We got a couple more here, guys. Tony, my guy, what's going on? Gorev, Los Pollos, Hermanos, Hangry Wife, Lemons family. Who else? One more, and AT&D, my boy Stevenson, ATN. Once again, I hope everyone's had a fantastic morning. Hope you're ready to rock and roll. I hope you're game planning. I hope you have your notes. You did a little due diligence over the weekend. And then you come in bright and early Monday morning. Last week was a shortened one. And you come in ready to rock and roll. The boys next to us clearly were. You had the Katina man short on silver. There you go. He's just riding that. The cash cow himself. What are you doing in the middle of April there, Katina, man? I'm curious. I wouldn't know or anything. If you could bring us a little more information on that one. SLV, and then you had Neil rocking and rolling. What's going on with the Blue Jays, my friend? I don't know. These guys dropped like 5 straight or something like that, 4 straight. Not too good of a look. Aside from that, guys, a little bit more of a quiet one. NASDAQ still relatively choppy here today. We have Tesla still sliding. Not too good of a look for Tesla, we tried a couple of longs. NVDA has yet to pick a definitive up or down direction. We're moving sideways there, but there's plenty of time left in the session. But first and foremost, we want to hear what Obi has on his radar, what he's looking at, and then we'll go over what we got going on. Then Joey Notebooks.
Nice, nice, good stuff, man. I like, really like that. Yeah, I remember there was I got like notebooks and notebooks.
Yeah.
Stacked of just like, you know, notes I've been taking through the day and stuff like that. Don't really do too much of that anymore. But it was definitely good.
Yeah, you do everything
It's good practice. Yeah, I do. I write stuff on my Notion now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Today I haven't really taken a single fill, to be honest. I've just been observing, watching, and waiting for the right opportunity. Apple gave us a nice opportunity there, a bit of a miss, but it's okay. It wasn't really, you know, A++. So I've just been observing, to be honest, for the most part, waiting for maybe potentially some of these some news to hit there. We know that Trump's making some remarks at around 1 o'clock, so we'll see if that brings in any sort of volatility into this here market. Obviously, have eyes on USO there at the same time. That's holding this 135. We're holding well above 135s now, trading in 137s. Just kind of sideways consolidating. Seems like we're still continuing that stair step up as you know, tensions in and around the Strait of Hormuz continue to fluctuate. So that's really all I have on watch. But you guys let me know, what else are you watching in this market? What do you think is in play on a day like today? It was a relatively quiet morning, nothing too crazy. I was watching, the only reason why I was watching Apple was it was, the relative strength on Apple this morning was crazy. All the way from 256s to 262s, it was the strongest Mag 7 out of all the names. I think one of the strongest in all of tech as well. Yeah. So that's a good reversion that's coming in. I guess the opening drive was there as well, but I like my reversions. They gave you a couple chances there to get in pretty decently. And you can see here at the top too, you got those nice inverse hammers kind of telling you, giving us the signal that, yeah, that buying, that aggressive buying, while the rest of the market isn't necessarily following in step, is pulling back pretty decently. And then you can see once that starts to exhaust, we've came all the way back down into VWAP, 259s now. And market's not really doing anything too crazy. We're still trading within the opening range here, both on the NASDAQ and the SPY. Let's see what you guys are saying. PFSA. Okay, we can take a look at some of these stocks here. PFSA, Profusa. I don't really, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, no, definitely small caps are gonna be more of a watch today because I'm not really seeing anything too crazy in terms of large caps here. Here we have Profusa, some decent relative volume. Wow, 40,000, above 40,000 in the pre-market session and continuing to give us about 10 to 15,000 times relative volume in the open session. $2 stock got a high of 225 today. What do these guys do? Financial conglomerates. Okay, cool. Engages in the biofeedback for chronic disease management and healthy living services. So getting some interesting volume here on the day today. Let me know in the chat, are you guys going long? Are you guys going short? What's the action here? I think in the morning you can see it seems like just based off of how it's behaving, every pop gets sold off, and then the break of every kind of downtrend gives us the next pop there as well. So it seems like both ways were pretty decent opportunities in the pre-market session, and it seems like the shorts are a little bit more on the winning side in the open session as of right now. Some people saying short. Frank McDowell saying short. Yeah, no, I definitely see the short there on that one. Tesla long solid saying Tony SRX. Okay, Tesla. Take a look at that. Whoa, all right. I don't know about I think sellers are definitely in charge on the day today, but maybe that's what you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for a potential long after these sellers have kind of exhausted themselves today. Pre-market low, I guess. Pre-market high didn't break. Pre-market low definitely broke off of the open, but that's swiped up as well. And then the opening range low is, look at that breakdown, man. Absolutely clean. That was probably one of the cleanest breakdowns on the day today here on this name. past prior day's close and prior day's lows as well. We know that today was not earnings, but deliveries day number 2 for Tesla. And we saw that initial reaction there was not well taken by the market either, breaking down that all-day consolidation low going into the end of the day. And then we're getting that continuation happening here on Tesla today, once again on day 2. So we'll see. We'll see what Tesla has in store for us. Meta is going up apparently. Says lunch 911. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see a little bit of that as well, holding prior day's levels here on the pullback we just had on Meta. But other than that, I don't really have too much else going on. What do you got going on? What have you been involved with today?
Yeah, man, let's get right into things. I mean, we took 2 attempts here on the long, just nice and steady. We're in a good position. As soon as we put on a quality trade, it's just like bang, back to Greensville, USA. So we're gonna kick things off here, guys, with NVDL to start. I was actually testing out a hotkey on this one. It worked, apparently, but the trade did not. So that wasn't too bad, guys. NVDL, you stop at the break of this structure right here. You get out of dodge, and then we take 1 attempt here on TSLL, risking 10 cents on the trade, and then yeah, it's just continuously bleeding here. So you might want to just, if we're looking for the bottom, we're gonna have to be extremely patient on this, and then wait for those indecision prints. But if we look at the daily, absolutely disastrous on Tesla. You're down a couple percentage points here now, or almost anyways, 1 and a bit. Essentially on Tesla, and then we're down 28% now off of that previous all-time high. With the NASDAQ and the SPY still only down respectively around 7 to 8%, which isn't bad whatsoever. We're leading into earnings season. We're gonna start things off with the big banks as we typically do, and then once the tech names start rolling, we have to pay attention to a couple key metrics, I think, leading into the earnings report. That's gonna obviously be the CapEx. Are they gonna be increasing it? Are they gonna remain the same? And then also, are we starting to become a little bit more efficient? How are we going to be able to recognize and pick that out? Well, it's margins. We already had Block CEO lay off a bunch of individuals, so that's a name that you can potentially look at as well too. Amazon laying off a bunch of employees. And then we have also Oracle doing the exact same thing. But Oracle's situation, in my opinion, is slightly different. And I think Adara would agree. They need to sell some assets, and they need to really shore up costs here to pay for their RPO, the remaining performance obligations that are essentially all correlated and connected to Sam Altman's OpenAI. So we have to pay a lot of attention. There's going to be a lot going on. The king of the chips, NVDA, Jensen Wang and company, typically one of the later names. They're at the tail end of earnings season, which is totally fine and could be a massive teller. But one thing that I'm going to be keeping an eye out on is Apple. I think Apple is probably going to come out with a nice solid quarter. Amazon, considering they're laying off a bunch of individuals, right? With that being said, is the forward guides, you might see a little bit of an uptick, but CapEx is also going to be a major metric that we need to keep our eyes on just in case. So other than that, guys, 2 trades, slower start to Monday, but 1 trade away from going to Greensville, USA. And I'm thinking, what are we doing here on today's session? It's been quite a while. We've been consolidating. If you break things down, NVDA has been trading within a tight range, and so has the SPY and the TQQQs. So once it breaks, you just want to wait for maybe some volume to step in, and if it does, patience, wait for that pullback, and then see if you're going to continue in that specific direction. That could be a solid setup. And I mean, it's 11:13 right now. I bet you, so Donald Trump speaking at 1 o'clock. I think in between then we get a volatility spike regarding what's going on in the Middle East, right? Like, if I'm going to put my money anywhere, it's probably that you're going to see a couple more headlines, the market being extremely headline sensitive, and then sure enough, it's like you have that extra spike. We had ISM this morning. You've seen a little bit of a volatility move there, and what we had on Thursday, the final day of the session of the week, you had a big time move higher. And now we haven't really specifically picked a direction other than eastbound, and shout out to Kenny Powers, down, eastbound and down. So a lot of people just chilling in the chat. And I like that, right? So that's good. If you don't see anything, then by all means, don't put anything on, right? And I'm waiting for a potential move in Tesla. There's no reason for me to abandon a potential move back towards the volume-weighted average price just yet. But if we continuously sell off, then maybe as time goes on, and I'm not talking about a couple minutes, I'm talking maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, a couple hours, to the point where we're not getting any form of a rebound, then we might not have a potential retracement play here in TSLL. Netflix, inverted up here, pop up to 102. And the way that I was looking at this from a daily, I was like, oh, okay, at this point, we're bound to break through. You punch, and then you get that pullback through. So all the breakout traders get a couple of points, and then now you're starting to come back in to Thursday's close. The T-Trips, Tesla, SLV in the corner of my eye, and then also NVDA and Tesla, OB.
Nice. Yeah, I think Trump is actually making comments right now. I have it on my news feed here. It's basically just saying that the most recent comments were, if Iran doesn't yield, won't have bridges and power plants. And Trump is also said that if it were up to me, I would take the oil. He's also saying that where was it? Got to scroll a little bit lower. Reiterates that they cannot have a nuclear weapon. He was saying that people talking for Iran are more reasonable now. As well. So yeah, U.S. is negotiating, it says people U.S. is negotiating with are reasonable and not as radicalized. So yeah, he's still making comments as of right now. So I'm watching oil here, I'm watching the markets as well. Nothing too crazy here on USO. We got a little bit of a volume spike there that pushed us back into 138s, but nothing crazy. We're not really seeing something like earlier around 1038. You can see strong volume brought us all the way right back up to VWAP. Not really seeing any sort of significant volatility here. He's continued to talk here saying, I've seen every proposal. Interesting. Nothing that's market shaking as of right now. But yeah, let me know in the chat, what are you guys trading? We can take a look at some more of those small caps that I know you guys love, and take a look at a volume gainer screener here as well. So we might catch some of those here at the same time. SLNO, I think this one is a takeover bid, a buyout here. I was watching this one in the morning at the same time. Pretty decent craziness here. You can see in the pre-market session all the way down from 46s, and I guess it took some time for this to come in and digest, because it gave us that strong spike off the open. But I guess off of the open, I do sometimes like just going with the pre-market trend. And guess what? That pre-market trend has been to the downside. And I was watching this right here, this 52.20s. When that bid broke, slammed down, you got 5 pennies on something like this that's really extremely thick. That's a pretty decent move on a breakdown, 5 pennies to the downside. But other than that, I didn't really see anything too crazy, other than maybe just sitting short on this one, maybe collecting some fees as well. But yeah, first day buyout, decent SLNO move there as well. FCUV, it's the first time I'm seeing this one, but decent relative volume here. Over 160,000 times relative volume in the pre-market. So I guess this doesn't really do that much volume to begin with. Yeah, post-split runner here as well. When was this split? On February 9th, it would seem. Okay, cool. FCUV, I didn't see anybody mention FCUV at all in the chat. We know that Sean was talking about Intel here. Intel was on my radar as well, with a little bit of relative volume in the pre-market session here. Been only selling off since the open. Plug Power, wow, I haven't seen this one in a while, but doing some decent relative volume this morning as well. Saw a question in there about FUBO, OB, do you see, so Chris Arthur in the chat saying, OB, do you see a reversion on FUBO up 22% on a reverse split? I don't know, let's take a quick look at FUBO. I do like reversions, don't get me wrong. And wow, okay, so this is another one right here, 3.5 times relative volume, all day trend. I guess you did have a bit of a reversion here, right? So the first one that I see is right here, the one that came in off of the bid off of the open. So this is a 3-minute chart. You can see, yeah, sure, we don't really establish trend till about you get 1 or 2 points here on that line, and you can see on the pullback, you hold it a few more times, and when that pattern is broken, you get some sellers and reversion back down into VWAP for a bit of a pull-in, and that was, I like to measure these sometimes, so that was roughly about a 5% pullback there on FUBO. It seems like it's taking another leg for high day. Decent volume on that push right there, but yeah, hammer, inverse hammer, I guess maybe some supply coming in on this one here, but it's holding up. It's holding up quite well. So I wouldn't say that, if I look at something like this, I'm not going to be like, okay, it's coming all the way back down to opening range lows. Maybe I could be thinking that here as it pulls back into VWAP, but the sustain on VWAP and a pullback in towards those highs kind of, writes that idea off for me at the very least. So FUBO, good look there on that one. Reversion, I think we've had a decent reversion there. This is on the 1021 3-minute candle, and you can see here continuation through the upside at the same time. So nothing too crazy here. ZSL, isn't that one from last week? I think, ZSL, no, never mind. This is silver. Okay, cool. SL. So instead of ZSL, let's take a look at silver, SLV, silver trade. iShares Silver Trust is the one here, and yeah, kind of. I know it was on people's radar over the last week, over this morning as well, but nothing too crazy. Holding VWAP here on the day. Seller is potentially in charge as it trades below VWAP and it cannot get above, even though it's tried multiple times on the day today. Trump on Iran, more comments coming in saying that hopefully it'll be over with quickly. We could leave right now, but I want to finish it up. That's what he's saying. So oil with a slow and steady bid coming in, potentially towards high a day there. 139s and some change is where that's sitting at. I wonder if we can get to 140. Right, bigger picture. We've been following this one for what, over a month now. And USO is just doing that bit of a stair step up, consolidating higher, coming into almost every week. That last week we had that strong gap up into Thursday, going into the end of the week, and then today we're sustaining some of those levels at the same time. So it seems like price acceptance is definitely there at higher levels relative to the aggressive bid that we did get. I think it was on March 9th here as well. So that was kind of day one of where I thought, volatility is starting to become a little bit nicer on this name here, and we've only been getting good opportunities on oil as it's started to step up over the past couple of weeks here. So good look there. Nice call outs on some of those small caps in the chat. We'll continue doing that. We'll continue watching over some of these as we go forward, but I'm not really seeing anything too crazy. I'm waiting for that 1 o'clock drop.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to that as well, too. I mean, we're going to be looking at the same names a lot here today. So a quiet one. The market is still bleeding, and Tesla is a complete sell program. And normally I'm going to try to talk myself out of this trade. I'm prepared when the prints and the signals display themselves that, hey, we might be ready to turn around or have a little bit of a pullback, that I'm going to look to engage on it. We just have to be patient enough and wait for 2% to the downside here on Tesla, roughly, as TSLL is down 3.9%, guys. So keep an eye out on that one. Good stuff to hear. Adam James in the house, Mike Peter Ryder as well, too. So glad to have you guys in here. And what is everyone else looking at? What are you trading? Which direction we think of the market is the market going to head? Because, I mean, NVDA hasn't done too much here today. It's starting to form somewhat of a wedge, if you ask me. You can pull it up here and take a look. And we were talking a little bit about the options chain this morning as well. Okay, so there it is. We can take into consideration those higher lows, and then we can also take into consideration this flat top. So that wedge price really starting to compress, and if it decides to pick a direction, considering how the TQQs have been trading for the duration of this session, it's most likely going to follow. Tesla's really, really tanking. Netflix has been selling pretty aggressively. And I haven't even gone over the other Mag 7 names, considering. We talked about Microsoft being down a staggering 33% off of its highs. That's insane. And the fact that the SPY and the Qs are only down 7-8%, I think that's pretty good, especially come earnings season, which is only around the corner. these names can really drive the market and help it recover. And hopefully some of the other larger participants decide that they want to recover as well. Obviously, the heavier weighted names is which I'm referring to. So we'll be patient. We'll wait for some high quality opportunities. Let's head over to our options chain and just run through the Mag 7. And what ideally we want to do here is just look for where the bigger participants and the larger traders are laying. Where are they placing their bets? What are they up to? And how can we base trades off of it? There goes the NASDAQ heading a little bit lower there, guys. We're going to kick things off here with Apple. And we're going to go to this week's expiration cycle. Now that this is expiring today, like this isn't crazy that you have the 2 DTEs on the Mag 7. You can see some positioning here at that 260 mark. Now we're trading south of that, still collecting $39 per short contract, not horrible. Also, our delta gauge, our Greek metric, saying that there's only a 65% chance that this contract by the end of the day is going to expire in the money. Obviously, that can change throughout the session. Moving forward, let's take a look at this other name that we were talking about earlier this morning on the morning show about a specific zone at 190, and we're going to go to that April 10th expiration cycle because when I was going through this, it had the most size, but that has changed since. You can see this 182.5 level really coming into play. 60,000 contracts. I think we might be in a little bit of trouble of breaking through the supply zone just due to the current market sentiment, right? If we're not that strong, then there might not be participants across the board that are willing to absorb this liquidity, and then that leads to that 177.5. We're south of both of these strike prices, okay? And if we continuously knock on the door, like we can gauge here pretty easily in the pre-market, 178, but where has our high been from the intraday session? As soon as the open comes in, oh, 177.36. That's no coincidence that it's almost at that 177.5 strike price. Like, I mean, we go over these things time and time again and look for the high quality opportunities. Let's take a look at the next name. And that's going to be a name I tried to go long on earlier this morning, and that's going to be Tesla. We'll head over to the 10th of April expiration cycle, and then sure enough, there's nothing substantial. So what I would typically do is just go up and down the chain to see something that's eye-popping. Like, where are the largest participants laying? Where is that most amount of open interest? Where is that positive gamma laying so we can base something off of that, all right? And the good thing about the options chain data is that over the weekend, it doesn't reset until, I believe, 9 or 10 p.m., which is good. So you can go over it on the weekend. You can write down your levels. If we run into this, how is price going to react around that specific zone? And are we going to find a potential bounce? And just due to the fact that I didn't see any substantial size here on Tesla, I thought, hey, we have the opportunity and we may have the ability to find somewhat of a sustained move or sustained pop back into the volume weighted average price and then maybe even north of that. Moving forward, let's take a look at who we do. We did Apple, NVDA, Tesla, and then now we're going to take a look at goggles. Let's see what's up with Google here, guys. Alphabet, we're going to head over to the April 8th expiration cycle, that $300 mark. We're $3 below that, roughly $2.50 to be exact. And then sure enough, here it is on the April 10th expiration this Friday, guys, 310, some size there. Not the most active, but you'll still find some open interest and some volume. But what's really catching my interest is this $300 mark as the market looked like it wanted to slide a little bit, but still holding south of that specific zone. And here's the price compression that I was talking about not too long ago on NVDA. We're still chopping around that, that ascending triangle, Obi, and we've yet to pick a definitive direction.
Yeah, I think, you know, Trump continuing to make some of these comments here. And as I was mentioning before, oil is just slowly, or USO is slowly just creeping back up towards that 139 area, 138.90s as of right now here. And the market is taking a little bit of a trip to the downside as well. You can see the past few bars. Sure, we're still within the opening ranges, but the past few bars just, you know, red, back-to-back reds here on both the ES and the NASDAQ. Sure, you have some green in the middle there, but trending slowly to the downside here, just hovering above that 24,200 on the NASDAQ. Tesla continues to sell off still, so I guess the sellers are still not done with this one, as you know, this is, I keep saying earnings day 2, but deliveries day 2. is what we're looking at here on Tesla. So decent, clean trend to the downside. I'm watching this even closer now because I do think it's starting to get a little bit overextended. I'll just come in here, maybe draw some trend line. You can see here roughly holding, maybe not the best. It's not a clean one, but it's holding quite well. Let's start from here, I guess. So yeah, holding pretty decently as of right now. Sustained volume as well, right, Joe? So I don't think, unless I really see some sort of like capitulation or any sort of like a blowout, I'm not really going to get involved with this one. But it is one on my radar as of right now. Keeping a very close eye on this. If it starts to act in the way that I like, then maybe potentially I will get involved on this one.
I like that you pointed that out, though, Obi, with the Tesla. It's just like, hey, basic trend line, like starting of trading 101. Make that trend line. If it breaks, if it sits on the back side of it, then you can find an opportunity maybe to go.
No, of course, man. Like I like my trend lines, right?
Yeah.
Trend lines are pretty solid. It's just a what do you call it? A trend indicator, right? You can use your moving averages. You can use trend lines. You can use whatever you really want. Yeah, no, it's really, sometimes you got to keep it simple, right? You got to keep it basic. Over time, I've learned which trend lines to draw and which ones not to draw as well. That's a big difference, right? That'll make the difference, I would say. But certain trend lines are weighted a lot more for me versus other trend lines based off of what they do. I like this one a little bit here because you can see this is the only bid that came in after we broke the opening range low, and we've had sustained selling after an attempt back up. So there is a story being told here, and that's why this trend line might be a little bit more meaningful. That's why I changed it as well. I was like, okay, well, this is not really that clean, even though VWAP rejection is quite solid there. But yeah, there's a few different ways you can kind of measure the story, see how things are going. You can do an anchored here as well, strong volume on the breakdown. So that's an event, the breakdown of the day low. You can see here still that we attempt to kind of balance out, revert to some sort of a mean, and then we start expanding away from, or start carrying away from that, extending away from that as well. So yeah, have close eyes on this one as of right now, but nothing too crazy going on in terms of any other of the Mag 7s that are really selling off. Tesla's the only one that is the relative, it has relative weakness, I guess, if you want to say, to the downside. Meta, one I don't have eyes on right now. Nothing too crazy. Wow, Sean was talking about this one right before we got on. Look at that reversion coming in. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe potentially on Tesla as well, where yeah, it's broken the opening range low. We've traveled a little bit lower. Maybe start to get a little overextended, and then you get that nice little reversion back towards VWAP right here. And Meta seems like it's had seller dominance there since the open. We attempt to kind of hold VWAP on a couple attempts, and then doesn't really happen, no real follow through. So is that VWAP once, twice, and then once again here coming into 1130. So good stuff there on Meta. And again, you had market tailwind on your side as well. The past few 15-minute candles on, as I mentioned before, on the NASDAQ have been red to the downside, coming back into that opening range low. USO still hovering just shy of 139, so nothing too crazy, even though Trump was making some comments. So let's see, just now Israel's prime minister saying we destroyed today the largest petrochemical factory in Iran. Okay, yeah, no real market reaction on any of that stuff just yet, but maybe it's already priced in. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to take one more attempt here, guys. Slow curl over, a couple of indecision prints, a little bit of anticipation, 10 cents here to see if this is going to work for somewhat of a bounce. We're going to try to hold to a 2-to-1, but first things first, you need the trade to work. As the market is sliding, you're starting to see a little bit more of a continuous slide, but I feel like I'm catching relatively close to as low as we can go. Or I mean, not as low as we can go substantially lower, but as for a risk to reward standpoint is that, hey, if it breaks this, we head over to 82 cents. We're at a dodge, but if not, I can pull this back all the way in to approximately the volume-weighted average price. That could be 40 cents right there. It's still extremely weak, no confirmation yet. I know I've seen some indecisions as it's continuing to head lower. This trend is like really, really waterfall. So, I mean, well, if we take the stop out, we take it. We're giving it plenty of room and not going too heavy considering, right? There's a couple of indecision prints off the lows. The market looked like it wanted to break through that support system. So we have a structure right here. and we keep bouncing off it. So it's continuous lower highs. So there might be a trade to be had on the short side, especially at the break of that 43.59 mark. But again, 10 cents, a little bit of a feeler to see if we're really in a sell program. I mean, if it hasn't displayed that enough, I know, Steven, don't worry, it's all right, it's okay. Like, we have to take the opportunities. If I see something, even though we're not on the backside of this trend, I have my risk measures in place. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, right? If you take the loss, you take the loss. So be it. But I also want to see where can I maximize my risk to reward. I'm risking 10 cents for a move back towards the volume weighted average price. That's around 40 cents for me to risk 10 cents. Okay, so I'm okay with that risk to reward ratio. So we'll be patient. It's either there's literally two outcomes. All right. It's either it's going to work or it's not. It's that simple, and if you can come easy with that, then I understand that. I'm very aware of what we got going on, but I think it is, yeah, see, it's weak, right? And if you guys are right, you're right. I'm not going to complain about it whatsoever. You've warned me, but also we have to make our own decisions as well, too. If the market decides that it really wants to get selling, then by all means, the trade is not going to work whatsoever. But if we slowly start to curl around a steady downtrend, down 2% plus here in Tesla, I mean, there it is. It's 10 cents, right? Like, put on the risk, see if you can get that move back to VWAP. If it continues to sell, then guess what? We get out when we're supposed to, and then we look for that other opportunity to engage if there is going to be one. Price compression pattern in NVDA still in full effect. We're holding up the support levels here on the TQQs, right? Like, this is a big support level. If this continues to hold, you have participants step in, then you might be all right. So NVDA right here as well, too, guys. A lot of ebb and flow within this one. And then this is essentially what I'm going long off of. I understand. It's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. But the buying pressure is extremely weak. Risk to reward is there for me. I like it. We're going to take the opportunity to see if we can get a little bit of a pop there, Obi. And if we get stopped out, then we get stopped out at 82 cents.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I'm watching for the bounce as well, but I think I'm going to be a little bit more patient. The thing is, it's showing that sellers have been in charge pretty much all day long, right? It hasn't really shown us any other new pieces of information just yet, and that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the chart to tell me that, hey, buyers are here now, then I can maybe participate and get alongside with some of those buyers. But sustained volume on the sell-off as it continues to sell down, I'm going to be a little bit more patient. You have market tailwind as well on your side. If you are looking at this short, right? You've had multiple breakdowns, and again, this is still fresh. I would say still relatively fresh news. Day 2 of deliveries, and you can see right away on the initial reaction of that catalyst, sellers kind of showed their hand. They showed you that, okay, we're in charge. We broke down all day consolidation here at 364s, and then broke down as well, kind of really hammering it in that, yeah, no, sellers are definitely in charge on this name. So you got to be a little bit wary of that as we get that continuation on day 2. Sustained volume is the biggest thing here that I am watching, and that's gonna be a little bit important for me as well. Any sort of increased volume to the buy side then might signal that, yeah, okay, buyers are finally here. Don't really want to gamble on that until they show themselves, but we'll wait and see what other opportunities may or may not show up here. 139's finally on USO, so that's coming into day highs as the market creeps lower and lower here as well. And this is something that I'm talking about. This is the kind of capitulation, because you can see we had that strength of sellers pull USO right back in, and take a look at that volume signature right there as price was pretty much absorbed at 136s. So this is kind of the pattern that I want to be looking for on something like a Tesla. Post-selling, sure, you can say there was sustained selling there. You can see back-to-back red volume bars, and all of a sudden, boom, you get that aggressive volume candle, you get that aggressive move, and now buyers have been in charge since that occurrence. So definitely the chart saying a lot of things here as USO pulling right back up. And we're sustaining levels from last week's gap up as well, right? On Thursday coming in, we had that gap up, pushed all the way to 140.75s in the pre-market, and then pulls back in. You know what I didn't look at today, Joe, or yesterday was USO in the Blue Ocean session, because I was still recovering from the bachelor party on Saturday, and yeah, pretty much all day yesterday. And I'm still recovering right now as well. But you know, all good fun.
It's like with 33, it takes a lot longer. It's not 23.
Yeah, exactly. We're not in our 20s, early 20s anymore. So yeah, no, it definitely takes a couple of days. But okay, so 142 highs on USO in the overnight session. So I was watching this in the beginning, didn't really partake in a lot of the trading, didn't really do too much there. But you can see it's had some decent opportunity on multiple nights. Wednesday night, remember, Trump was coming in at 9 p.m. and dropping some comments there, and that was some decent volatility on that. And we're sustaining levels past that, right? We're sustaining levels and continuing to push up higher, holding as well. So let's see, is that some volume coming in potentially? Yeah, okay, so supply coming in here once again at a place where it was there very clearly in the morning, right? 139s and some change. So if we do get a pullback from here, I wouldn't really be that surprised, but we'll see if the situation's really changed here. Buyers, very aggressive since that 1036 3-minute candle here. You can see that very distinct kind of pattern on the chart. Let's see what is happening here. The White House is seeking $152 million to reopen Alcatraz into an active prison. Okay, interesting. You know, here's some stories about that place. Wasn't that the prison from that movie? No, or am I thinking something else? The one with Leo. You know what movie I'm talking about?
Which one?
Where he's kind of like a prisoner in a mental.
Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. Yeah. That's well, that wasn't Alcatraz, was it? I don't think so. But yeah, no, that's what that story got me thinking about here as well. But yeah, not really watching anything else. Waiting for that 1 p.m. We still have about an hour and 20 minutes until some of those comments are dropped. But again, Trump is talking throughout the day. It seems like he's still kind of saying things here and there. The White House is still making remarks as well. So the Rock with Connery was Alcatraz saying, Mr. Laley. Okay, so I don't think I've seen that one. The Rock with Nick Cage and Sean Connery had it. So nice. What do you got going on?
Same thing, man. We're sitting in this trade, starting to form a little bit of a base here. Slight rebound in the market. We'll hold on to this. Again, it's simple. One or two outcomes: 82 stop out, or we get that move back towards the volume-weighted average price, okay? So we'll sit in this. I do believe I'm a little bit early. As you can see, sellers just step right back in. Day 2 deliveries, you mentioned that as well, too, Obi. Yeah. So there may not be that opportunity, right? So we have to be prepared to also just step away and walk away from the trade if it doesn't pan out after a couple attempts, right? So I'm willing to give this my 3-strike rule. And then that's it. No base, miss on deliveries. There's a lot of negative things, but that doesn't mean the stock can't pull back at some point. So, I mean, we're not sitting in a horrible position, but if it breaks down, we're prepared to get out when we have to. It's literally that simple. NVDA is still doing the price compression. We'll head over to our watch list and see what we got going on over there. NVDA, boom, nice little breakout. Volume on the lower time frames really started to pick up, which is good. This is what you want to see. You want to see the volume increase as you head towards a key resistance zone. This was that slight uptick, and then it didn't stair-step up like you typically want to see, but that's totally fine. I mean, if it's sustained and you get on this continued movement, then you might find somewhat of a rebound here in the overall market, guys, as it's doing the exact same thing, but almost inverse of what NVDA is doing. Ascending wedge, right? Higher lows, lower highs. So if it breaks through, be prepared for a potential breakout in this market. Headline sensitive as well, too, so anything can happen at any given moment. And just be prepared to get out when you're supposed to. Amazon, what has it been up to? Both like relatively strong here this morning, Obi. Opening drive, pretty strong. You double top up here almost, and even those wicks are relatively close, and then you bounce off a view up, and then you get that continuation to the top side. Meta, how's it been performing here today? Relatively choppy as well. Tesla definitely the weakest one. So, I mean, the more that we talk about it, it's just like, all right, we take our couple of attempts. It's either it's going to work or it's not, but that is a tough sell program that I'm going against here. Full disclosure, and I'll even tell you guys, I'm okay with that. I made the decision, and we live with it, right? So we look for that next sign of strength, if there is going to be any. BMNR, I see Neil pull up BitMine Immersion, super strong here today. Nice pullback, bounces, test that high, double top right there. So let's see if you get another rebound there in BMNR. So with that being said, how's Ethereum been performing? Okay, so BitMine Immersion, a little bit stronger, it seems, than what we got going on in the actual underlying. Where's my IBIT? How come this thing always gets scrambled? IBIT, not too bad of a look. I thought at some point we were going to start to fill this gap from over the weekend. A nice move higher, consolidation, you break up, and it looks like we might even go and test this 39.85 high. Be prepared for that, all right? So not too bad of a look in the crypto space. This name had a headline as well too, TWLO, not very liquid, right? So we'll take that into consideration. And also CrowdStrike, 500 million more in their buyback. I believe they already purchased back around 413,000 shares, more power to the company. And this name has been down 20+% as well too, off of its previous pivot highs, CrowdStrike, and same with the whole cybersecurity space. Been pretty weak. Zscaler has been the worst out of all of them. I think this thing was down 60%. Like, this is absolutely disastrous. 58% from peak to trough there. So, I mean, a really tough look in Zscaler. Excuse me. Reddit, not too bad, but not great either, considering it's what I find curious is just all of these names are so weak. Like, it's so hard to find relative strength. And I mean, if we go to XLI, the industrials haven't been horrible, energy hasn't been horrible, but if you go across the board in tech, it's been absolutely disastrous, if you ask me, with the exception of Apple, all essentially hitting bear market territory. So it's been a tougher look in the tech space without any question. And it's usually typically your best performer, but then at times it can be your worst performer as well too. OB Staples, XLP. I mean, I was hot for a bit, and I thought we would see a little bit more of a rotation into this trade if we were stepping out of tech, but it more or less has been the energy trade, some industrials, and aside from that, not really much.
Yeah, no, I think there was a bit of a shift that did happen going into, I guess, middle or late last year, where we started to see, you know, a lot of volatility in commodities. Right? Yeah. Started off with some of the metals, right? And then it got into precious metals as well. You know, funny enough, there was, I think it was sometime last year, like cocoa was going crazy as well. Some decent volume there. I think wheat futures maybe got a little bit of that wind as well. But right now, it's all about energies. Right? It's all about energies, right now. And I think that's really been leading. We looked at that XLE just last week there as well. Kind of one of the strongest sectors in the market right now. So yeah, maybe tech is taking a little bit of a breather here. I'm watching when it comes to things that maybe potentially taking a breather. I'm watching Micron, and there's a lot of talk about, you know, some of this DDR5 and RAM prices potentially coming down. But you know, I've been checking stock periodically. I haven't really seen a big difference in price just yet. But you know, Micron giving us a bit of a recovery after that aggressive pullback that we had just a few weeks ago, right? When was that at? That was I guess since the middle of March, we've been selling off pretty decently. We had a bit of a gap down, aggressive selling here on the 30th of March, and since then, the beginning of this month, we've been kind of recovering not too bad on Micron. But I want to go to a higher time frame on this one, really emphasize the potential of where we can be. This was something that was aggressively bid up. You can see here that 156 breakout that we got in September of last year gave us that nice strong increase volume, kind of sustained volume run, and then we've been taking a sideways consolidation here since the beginning of this year. So you can see multiple weeks of just sideways range here. We attempt to break the highs. We pull back in. We attempt to break some of the year lows. We pull back in here as well. So Micron, It does. It is. The chart is showing that the bid is starting to get a little bit weaker, especially when you're going to consolidate sideways for over 56 days, 8 bars, roughly, maybe a little bit more than that. Increasing volume as well. That scooped it up last week. Look at that hammer candle right there. Buyers really stepping in, closing that bar, going from red to green there. But we'll see if there's continuation. We'll see if the buyers are really totally done with this. I'm watching SNDK in the space here as well. This one, a little bit different because, yeah, sure, we got a bit of slowing down, but we're still holding pretty decently relative to those all-time highs here on SNDK. Again, this is a weekly chart. So I like the sustained volume here. I also like the sustained price with the sustained volume. This chart does look distinctly different to me than the Micron chart. Maybe has some more room. 77760 is the all-time high on this one. WDC, again, one of the maybe other names in this in the memory sector or the storage sector. You can see how strong this one has been. Again, hard drives. Talking about data centers, even though a lot of those data centers, the plans for them just got sacked, you know, a lot of them not really living up to the plans that some of these companies had for the year. So we'll wait and see how the sector ends up going into the end of 2026. But I'm gonna be a little bit more patient. I was saying I want to buy some SSDs and maybe some RAM as well, but I am going to be a a little bit more patient. Those prices haven't really.
You're going to sell that?
No, for personal use. For personal use, yeah. No, I was, funny enough, I was building gaming computers and flipping them during COVID. Around those. Yeah. Nice, so I built. I think. I've always loved building PCs or working with PCs. I think I made like 10 in total.
Really?
Roughly, yeah.
Nice.
Something like that.
Nice.
Some for a few friends.
I have I built mine in 22. Still runs like a charm.
Yep.
I got a new graphics card when I purchased it. It was like custom, so I got the Ryzen 5, and then 1 terabyte. I believe with SSD is it or RAM. Yeah, right. And then I forget that was about it. But then I put in a new graphics card so that I could have more screens, obviously. So, yeah, nice little custom computer there. Yeah. It's a glass case. It's not like Wayner's or anything, but it's still running nice.
Yeah. Oh, you saw the white one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we built that one together. Yeah. That was fun too. Yeah. No, that I had that case that he has. I had that was like leftover inventory that I had from when I was doing the whole PC thing. So I was just like, yeah, you can use this case here. I have it just sitting around. But Leon Lee makes some of the most beautiful PC cases in the world, in my opinion. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful case. There, if you guys know what I'm talking about, it's the 011 Mini, and now they have one that's all glass from like 3 sides? Yeah, 3 sides. The top, the side panel, and the front panel. Pure glass, and that's also I think that's called the 011 Vision. Beautiful case, that one there. But yeah, see Leon Lee Vision. Yeah, people know exactly what I'm talking about there in the chat. Yeah, they make amazing cases. Some of their fans get a little bit pricey too, but I like my Corsair fans. That's what I use at home. But yeah, no, fun stuff.
I got the Red Dragon keyboard too, so it's nice.
Yeah,
nice. Dude, it was actually pretty cheap. To be honest with you, and it lasted a long time. Milo chewed through my old mouse, so I had to get a new one. Yeah, as a puppy. Oh my God! On the weekend,
how's he doing?
He's good, man. We're out. We're out on yesterday. Yeah. You chewed the wire of the mouse. Yeah. So we're out on Sunday. Throw the ball with him, right? I like to spend like time, get him exercise and get him running around, burning some of that energy that he has all built up. And anyways, there's this retaining wall by the park where we played. It was windy, it was a little bit rainy, so I'm throwing it under the bridge of the Gardner Expressway, right? Because there's like a little park there that you can hang out with, and there's a retaining wall. It's about like up to my shoulders, and you have to take into consideration Milo is 6 inches tall. right?
Okay.
Bro, Superman's off of the retaining wall into like the. I'm like, as soon as he did that, I'm like, no.
That's scary,
but yeah, bro, just like boom, boom, Superman's. I'm like, oh.
And then you had the
my
Superman behind him, right?
Oh man, I was already on the lower end, right? Like for me, it's just like a step down.
Yeah.
Even though I wouldn't do it right now with my knee, but this guy, boom, boom, Superman's off the thing, and I'm like, what a guy, man. But aside from that, guys, slowly, yeah, exactly. Slowly starting to work out here. We'll be patient on this one. We got to wait at least, considering we want to hold, a wiener dog, a dash-in. So yeah, there it is, guys. Slowly starting to work. That trend line may have been broken for now, Obi. With that being said, slight uptick here. No, he's a dash-in. Or you call it Daxon or whatever you would like to call it, a wiener dog. He's literally like this tall, man. He's not very big, and weighs 10 pounds.
I mean, he's still pretty young, right?
He's 1 and a bit now.
Yeah. So how big do that breed
he's
get?
fully grown now.
Okay.
Man. Yeah, he ain't getting any bigger. So, yeah, you didn't know that, Jesse. But also, Jesse, we're starting to work out there. So hopefully. And hold on to that. But I mean, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves anyways. This is starting to work. Slight uptick on the top side. If we can continue this momentum, the downtrend from the waterfall type PA has now been broken. You have that breakout of the top end of this range on NVDA, and then also the same thing with this wedge here on the NASDAQ. So we might be able to find somewhat of a bounce here. Can you take a look at plug power? Move above 266? Absolutely. Power. I forget. These guys do like, what do they like? Hydrogen cells.
Yeah, chargers.
Yeah. I mean, this name. I remember talking about this name. It was like 69 cents. It wasn't performing very well. I had a high of around 458 late last year. Still holding. I mean, at this pace, I think that you might break through there, but also be prepared for the next couple of days for a retest of that zone on plug power. But the way that it's looking, it's not horrible whatsoever. It will be, to be honest with you. Nice little uptick in TSLL. Let's see if we can get rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I think it's coming in now. You can see the market bouncing off of its lows here as well. We did get a break in trend. I do like that. But no real kind of volume spike just yet. And it doesn't necessarily even have to do that, right? Some of the best reversions, they come with that volume signature. And, as of late, I've been a lot more patient with my trading, just waiting for specific setups to come in. Otherwise, it's just a lot of it's just like sitting on my hands, watching, and being patient here as well. Apple coming in below its VWAP right here. So as the market bounces, a little distinct difference here. A lot of buying in the morning on Apple, and now we're getting a bit of continuation, a hold of that VWAP area as well. But you can see here, the first time we did pull back in the morning after an aggressive bid, this is where we found some buyers, right? So that was in and around that 259 area here. Multiple bars of consolidation for the past over 30 minutes here on Apple, still holding that 259 support, but now underneath the VWAP. So I do have this one on close watch now as well for a potential continuation. We'll see if there's still sellers on this one here, but a breakdown of this 259 might give us some more information. It was quite a nice reversion, to say the least, from off of those highs as well. There goes Tesla, man. Nice prior bar break on the 15-minute happening now. Buyers definitely stepping in with the market here on TSLA. So what am I looking at here? 15-minute. You can see here, we didn't really break the 15-minute with any sort of distinction until now, with about 2.5 minutes left. You can see here, what was that prior bar high? 353 halves, and we're getting pretty aggressive now with some buying, 354.30. So I'm going to wait till this 15-minute candle closes and see if the market continues to catch a potential bid here off of this 24,300 level. But we still have an hour roughly until Trump makes his comments. But the funny thing is, he's making comments as we speak right now. So yeah, he's saying we haven't signed any ceasefire. Saying I've given them chances and they haven't taken them. Let's see what else he's saying. Yeah, this is coming in literally like, 20, 30 seconds ago. So yeah, pretty fresh stuff here. Let's See Witkoff and Kushner are talking. Vance could also be talking. See, Iran would like to have a ceasefire because they're getting obliterated. Okay, cool. And market maybe catching a bit on that, but it doesn't really look like anything convincing here, unless and until USO gets that spike in volume and volatility. Might not really get involved with this one here at all today. But you guys let me know. What are you guys trading on a day like today when I definitely think it's a little slow, it's a little quiet. There isn't really any earnings names that are happening. I think any sort of large catalyst as of recent, in the Mag 7, it's only been really Tesla. Apple was technically in play for me today as well, but off of no news, so not really doing any sort of relative volume on that crazy bid there. Shane Holla with the super chat here. I think this one's for you, Joe. He's saying, I'm long on TSLL. What's your target?
The ideal target, I mean, so we're risking 10 cents. What you want to hold part of your position for is the volume weighted average price. It's on a drastic downtrend. There is an uptick on the volume on the lower time frames, but essentially here, ideally, you want to look for how we react around that 357 level. Obi was talking about this last week, is just that you have that elastic effect. We were steady down. Now, how aggressive is this bounce going to be? If you have larger participants really start to cover and head into that cover rally type mode, then you can see a little bit more of a sustained move back into the volume weighted average price. But right now, I'm just essentially focused on, can I potentially get to a 1.5 or 2-to-1 risk to reward? So my first out would be around 1102 here, and then next at 1112s, and then leave a little bit of a runner, maybe 30% or so, to see if we're fortunate enough to get into that 1125. But with the market, if it doesn't bounce aggressively, it's going to be a lot more difficult here in Tesla. You can see we're almost at a 1-to-1, and it pulls back aggressively. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of climbing higher, engulfed by one selling candle here, right? So it's just really, really weak. And you have to be prepared that, hey, if it comes to a 1-to-1 and then comes back to your entry price, you have to be prepared, in my opinion, the way I would run my system, is if we get stopped out break even. If I get to that 1105 mark, I don't want to take anything off there, but if it sells aggressively, then I'll get out. So primary target is going to be that 1112 mark. Then my secondary is going to be the volume weighted average price, and I don't know if we go any north of that. Jesse Martinez, before we sit down, I appreciate that, my boy. I have taken a few positions against your trades. Usually works, feels bad though. Boy, dude, do what you got to do, man. Especially like March and April. I mean, that's probably the more ideal time to do it. I haven't been the hottest of the hot, but things are, at least here, honestly, I appreciate it. Other than that, I wouldn't do that right now, unless we get a curl over here in Tesla. But we're ready. We have the utmost confidence. We're going to send it off to Neil with his lesson of the day. No Adara today, guys.
Thank you there, Joe. And the lesson is, I always say don't fall into traps. It's pretty obvious that, a lot of times you can have a signal or you can have an idea, and then everything seems like it's lining up, but it's a complete obvious. Today was kind of easy in terms of not falling for the initial longs. I mean, on my note, I had a couple, but that I thought were looking pretty strong in Netflix and AMD. And obviously, if you took those ones right away and you were into the whole let's just immediately go breakout story, that is what it is. 100 held on Netflix very, very cleanly. It actually bounced before the open. So, if you take the 100 trade, fair enough. I was looking post-open, and it went all the way to 102.5. Your move has already happened. And then AMD, very similar story. Like, yeah, if you had the initial breakout trade, and I was looking dip and rip, fair enough. This didn't happen. NVIDIA came down, and AMD decided not to. But once you saw that initial move higher, you have to reassess, right? Like, you can't be of the mind that, oh, okay, well, the first thing that happened was we held $100 and we're going higher, so therefore this is going to be a good long no matter what. We were asked a question or someone made a comment. It wasn't really a question. It was more of a comment. They've been watching the show since like 2020, and going back to then, there was like more trading or better trading or something to that effect between 8 and 10 o'clock, like starting earlier. And if you remember back in the meme craze during that time, it was so often where if you had something gap and break out like this, to pull back in, regardless of what happened, the pull back into VWAP and continuation was just so much better because you had so much more momentum in some of these gapper type names. I find right now we're in a market where these false breakouts at the open are not clean pullbacks into VWAP. And there's an easy tell between the two. Now, I ended up going short when I saw these reversals off the high early, and that is what it is. But there's a big difference between Netflix and AMD. Now, ultimately, AMD does also break trend. So I think I think staying away from that one ultimately was good, but it was a little better than Netflix. And when you look at this Netflix trade, breaking 100, look at the size of that topping tail candle. And then this little rejection here. It's such an obvious, like that long tail on a 3-minute, and the inability almost instantly to hold higher. That is the textbook false breakout. And when you have a big resistance level, oh, I guess I gotta do this because it's not split adjustable, we'll zoom in for you. When you have a big resistance level, breakouts, fine. If it holds above, lots of opportunity. But if you weren't happy with a couple of dollars, it's just a big time reversal candle that is really setting up a short and a continuation short. And when you see that happen, you've got to work away from it. And sometimes it's as simple as, okay, Netflix was a long idea. I didn't get the break off the open. The best trade is not to trade it or look for shorts. Now, did I look short on Netflix? Maybe not. But you can find other false breakouts. Remember Intel? Intel was looking strong. Intel was gapped up with everything else. There it sets your trap with the false breakout, the lower high, eventually turning into the short trade. The false break is one of those ones where you've got like multiple things going for you if you short and a couple of things working against you if you try to take that, buy the long back in. The first one is there's a couple of different types of exits that are coming in here. One, on a stock like Intel, look at the last 3 sessions on this. It's trend up, rocket ship up, rocket ship up. There are longs from the back end of last week that are seeing this continuation where it was huge breakout and follow through, huge breakout and follow through. Uh-oh, we failed a breakout. What do you think the longs from the end of the week are doing? Ringing the register at over a 10% gain if they got first day, second day, or even here, this breakout was 46.5. That's still 10%. As that breaks back underneath. You've got those exits. Then on top of that, you've got the pre-market gap traders that are like, okay, well, every time it's gone, uh-oh, this time it's not going, got to get out. So you have a couple of layers of short-term traders that are looking for that exit. And it's the same thing with Netflix too. Now, maybe it doesn't have as strong of a last 3 days as Intel, but look at the move into 100. Where everyone can see the resistance. You're not just dealing with the longs that punched in the pre-market or that punched at the open and are looking for the return. You've also got these swing trade types that will also be taking profit out as they possibly trail out. And that can lead to that kind of a downside move. Sometimes if you miss that initial 930, or in this case, Netflix 929 breakout, you just have to live with it. Did I want this long through 100? Of course I did. But once I'm late, that's it. Like you can't cry over spilt milk. Well, you can cry over spilt milk if you really want to. I don't know where it's gonna get you. It's not gonna get you a heck of a lot of anything if you choose to. What you can do is just avoid the trap, look for something at the pop and fade trade, and then move on. And before I go back and mention, I made a huge mistake for myself that I'm just gonna throw into the lesson of the day here. And that is, if you have a pattern that is working for you, day in, day out, it should be one of the first things you lean on. Last week, I'm pretty sure I was in Boyle Wednesday and Thursday very early, just because it was showing relative weakness to USO, but then it was also showing a very obvious top. Look at that. Support, resistance, resistance. Look at the charts, how identical, from top to bottom, and then again here today, and I had Boyle short on my list. but I don't even go short until it bounces off the low and gives me a lower high to work with. If you see this 2 days in a row and it's like, well, I was short both of these days all the way and reloading and all that stuff and basically holding it and reloading and all day trading for 2 days in a row, and it does the exact same move, how could I not have the top? Is how you should be asking yourself. Now, it doesn't matter if I end up on Boyle or not. This is where you'll see me grade myself not based on whether I'm green or red on the stock. Am I green on Boyle? Yes. Does that mean I traded Boyle well? Absolutely not. Same top, we were short, we didn't short this one today. You've got to be a little bit more critical of yourself sometimes. Hold yourself, if you're a trader, hold yourself to a higher standard. If something was in what to you was an easy setup and you don't do anything with it, that's a fail. I don't care if you made money on it. Did you make as much as you should have? Can I reasonably answer that question? Yes. Of course I cannot answer that question yes, because it showed me the exact same ranges 2 days in a row, and I decided not to, for whatever reason, to do anything with it. So that was a bit of a fail. And it happens, and you've got to be able to recognize that your ability to execute efficiently is just as important as having a solid plan of action. I didn't execute that plan on Boyle well enough. I will give you guys the update on the Tilapia. Okay, so it's actually not as bad as usual. So I'm gonna throw like a 5.7 for it. I can't go underneath 5 because relative to the usual tilapia, it's actually not that bad. And there's like a healthy amount of vegetables on the plate here. Oh, there's a shot. Healthy amount of vegetables on the plate, which kind of brings it up a little bit. But the tilapia itself, we'll give it a 5.7. The whole thing is brought up by all the vegetables on the plate and on the salad, like big chunks, which is pretty good. But it's hard for me to grade the tilapia very well. Good luck, everybody. And lots of color on the plate, as pointed out by Anon in the chat. So that'll bring the grade up on the tilapia, but it's still pretty meh in my books. Good luck in your trading for the rest of the day. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. I feel like we're going to have more than this inside day, but remains to be seen.
Thank you very much, Neil. Some solid Neilage, as we like to call it, being dropped there. For sure, yeah. No, it's kind of the worst feeling sometimes when you have your setup, everything's setting up, and then you don't even take it. Yeah. And it's just like, well, what am I doing if I'm not taking my my own setups there as well? So, all right. So Shane Holla with the super chat here. I'm gonna throw that up, saying, what's the probability, Shane Holiday? What's the probability oil continues to go up? Amen. I don't know if I can put a number on it, but we can do like a 50 over/under, right? Over/under. I think it's on its way up right now. Yeah. It's continuing to step up. We've seen the story that's being built around this USO. Now, of course, if the conflict somehow magically ends overnight, you ask yourself what the probability of that actually happening is. I think that's where you might have your answer there. But in terms of price, you can see what we did, right? Just looking at USO as an example, you had this, somewhat of a capitulatory action in April of 2020, right? Since then, we have, what's the other significant piece of information right here? For multiple months, over a few different years, you have this sideways consolidation where oil cannot get above this 84 area, maybe even this 90, 91 area on the extreme, right? And then all of a sudden, you have stocks like Chevron going at all-time highs, XOM kind of pushing up there as well. So you have oil-related names that are very strong. We have an energy sector that's very strong as well. And then you get a bit of conflict in the world that's directly related to oil. And look at that expanding volume and the push and the breakout of USO. Now, I think if this trend continues, we were just talking about, trading with the trend or being aware of what the trend actually is. Buyers are very, very dominant on this thing. Even last week, while I'm trading this intraday, you can almost feel every single drop getting absorbed over the past couple of weeks, right? So every single drop got bought right back up. The mean reversions have been amazing in that sense, in terms of volatility, either both ways. You either kind of, getting short before some of this, or getting long on the reversal of some of those drops. But every drop has been bought up, and we're stepping up on top of prior ranges. I drew some of these ranges in or over the past couple of weeks. You can see here, March 9th, I find was a bit significant. You had that gap up day. Sure, we were already running up into that breakout level coming into March 9th, but I think relative volume-wise, March 9th had a decent chunk of volume, so that's why I'm using those days as ranges to really mark off key levels that I think might be important to me. You can see here what happened. You had the pullback, you had the correction of a crazy kind of initial move, and once price was accepted, it continues to get accepted at with higher highs and higher lows. So it is definitely in an uptrend here on USO. And again, I don't know, what is the probability? I think the probability is that, yeah, maybe, unless and until something drastically changes in the whole situation, they continue to keep talking about, we're working on things, we're negotiating, we're doing this, we're doing that. And then last week, Trump comes in and says that, we're gonna send them back to the Stone Age if they don't agree with some of our terms. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Well, I think he's made his intention very clear, and continuously we're noticing and hearing that talks are not going as well. There's a lot of flip-flop being posted, and attempts at what really looked like keeping the price of oil down. Any sort of catalyst that came out with that sort of intention, the price was bought right back up. The market participants kind of placed their bets, and you saw it happening live, especially if you've been trading something like a CL or a USO, where aggressive sells were bought right back up. So I think if you want to take all of that into consideration, I think the probability of us staying in trend right now, the trend is to the upside. I think it's pretty decent. So unless and until the situation changes, which I don't think is going to happen overnight. So.
Well, I mean, at one point it will happen overnight, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we talked about this last week, where price precedes news. You hear Neil say it sometimes as well. Chart don't lie. The chart is telling us everything that we need to know. And when that situation changes, the chart will be also reflective of that. And maybe we get strong volatility bringing us to the downside. But I have no idea, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. There's no point in going against it right now. Especially with how headline sensitive we are. All right, guys, we're going to take the stop out here momentarily. This thing's really weak. That pullback was super shallow. We didn't even get quite to a 1-to-1 almost there, and it just rejected. It was almost the same narrative on this long, and then we just take the stop out. So you're getting like a 0.8 to 1, but I'm not taking it off. It's just not worth it. So if it cracks this low at 84s, then we could just get out a little bit early, and I think that's the current trajectory that we're on. The NAS has been a tougher trade. Bitcoin has been relatively strong here today. We're really extended from VWAP, so I'm not going to chase that whatsoever, right? Like, this is up there. We ran almost into this previous pre-market high, and sure enough, it's just been a nice, steady channel, right? So we're talking about the crypto space, not looking too bad. How has XLP been on the day? Not too bad either, right? So we can head over maybe into the Walmarts of the world and see some relative strength. It's a lot better than this tech trade. And I have no issues kicking it to the curb for a bit. Like, I mean, it is what it is. We're trying the longs. They're unfortunately not working. And I mean, it speaks for the daily as well, too. So you put things together, take the notes, and then try to execute based off of that. That's what we do, and Tesla just didn't work. That's the nature of the beast. Not everything is gonna work all the time. We have the ability to put on some good trades when we're correlated with the market. We're sitting in the right place at the right time. Just, yeah, exactly, dude. It literally is what it is. Like, it's the first day of the week. I have no issues with it whatsoever. And yeah, just confidence, man. It's, most confidence. So 1086, rocking and rolling. Couple more pennies, Obi, we'll get out of this, and then maybe we'll take Tesla off of our side check, because this sell program fully intact, and we had a trend line break, but then as we failed that, came right back in, and then now we're right back towards the low of the day. So it's been a tough look for Tesla. Man, oh man, I mean, so discontinuing the complete end of, I believe it was the Model X and the S no longer being produced, and now it's just the Y. And I probably got them mixed up. Sorry, I'm just focusing on this. All right, so we're out. We're out. As Tesla looks like it wants to head a little bit lower, and it would have head right into 82. So we're out of that one. Didn't work. Didn't take anything off there. Looking for a little bit more of a move. And Tesla's just in a sell program, guys. So this buy or trying to catch that falling knife, I think we'd try to look for something else. All right. So actually, let me pull this up here. Because I was looking at it last week, and we'll actually get some of those delivery. We'll get those delivery numbers as soon as we get back from SIA, guys. We'll talk a little bit more about Tesla.
Real quick update on oil here. So India is the world's third largest oil importer and second largest consumer of LPG. And after a 7-year hiatus, India has finally decided to buy oil from Iran on a condition that it cooperates. And currently I'm seeing USO is up 0.05%, nothing major happening, but just a quick update.
Right, thank you very much, Sia. People talking about Apple at that break point. So I pulled it up. Remember, we talked about it just a few minutes ago. I was like, that 259 could be interesting. And guess what? We're trading back below that as well. So the market attempted to bounce off of its lows right here, but still consolidating within the bottom quartile of the morning range. On the NASDAQ and Apple, yeah, it does look a little bit weak there. We're getting that continuation off of VWAP here as well. But yeah. Not really seeing much else. Continuing to watch some of the same names there as well. And I like that you pointed out Amazon earlier, looking a little distinctly different as it flags at its high of day there. Maybe, as Sharif would like to say, a flat top breakout potentially forming here on Amazon as it holds higher highs and higher lows off of its VWAP. So distinctly different kind of action here or participation on Amazon relative to some of the other names in the Mag 7. I'm seeing that softy. We know how much weakness Microsoft has been experiencing over the past, I would say, few weeks there. Today, still holding into some of the ranges that we bid back up into last week, but seller dominance there, trading below VWAP here on that one. Google, I guess, yeah, a little bit of strength on this one as well. Maybe it doesn't look as strong as Amazon, but it seems like it is holding up quite well on top of its VWAP. Another one with a potential flat top breakout there, 299s. Wow, almost we broke that 300 last week, and we couldn't really follow through back up into it, but sustaining some higher lows on the day today. 295.20s is that opening range low, which is also coming in at that low of day as well. Meta, let's see what our friend Meta's up to. Meta's still doing absolutely nothing here. Kind of sideways chop, just like the rest of the market. But Google is starting to look like it's breaking down as well. And of course, now Tesla are breaking out as well. Tesla, yeah, we just saw Joe in his trade. And you know what? Yeah, man, it's fine. You accept the risk. And you got to remember that you're going to be, especially when you're any sort of trading, but day trading especially, you're going to be wrong a lot of the time, and you have to be okay with that. And yeah, no, I'm definitely being a little bit patient with this one. I didn't see the volume come in as aggressively as I'd really liked it to, and we had that kind of sustained, slow, steady grind as well. But maybe this one here is it as we break this prior low and try to get that volume stepping right back in. You can see some decent elevated volume on the breakdown of this prior low here at 352s there. So I do have it on watch, nothing too crazy. I do like the fact that Google is moving the way it is, breaking up here. So maybe, just maybe, we get a bit of a bounce here on the markets. Things are definitely winding up as it would seem. Again, 1 o'clock, we still have about roughly just shy of 40 minutes left until Trump comes in for his remarks here. A lot of people talking about AMC today, Joe, and I did have this on watch. It's doing maybe a little bit of volume today, relative volume for sure. We had roughly 5 to 7 times coming in off of the open, and then now doing roughly about 3.5 times our vol on AMC. Now this thing is $1.20 29. Just whenever I see the price of this thing, I always laugh because it reminds me of the good old days just a few years ago where AMC was doing all of its craziness. I hope there aren't any bags still holding this one long. I hope so on AMC, but the short has been absolutely beautiful as well on the backside of that move. But yeah, I don't know anyone who's still holding their AMC shorts either. So. That one's, it's a little bit out of theme, right? There's obviously, there are certain shorts that I like to hold for a long time as well. But at the same time, you got to ask yourself opportunity cost, right? Can that capital be working other places? AMC is probably not the one I want to sit in, but doing some decent relative volume here on the day. Let's take a look at the weekly. How has this thing been doing technically? Because I haven't looked at it in a long time here. Okay, maybe a little bit of a break of trend. You can see this is the craziness that I'm talking about. Now, of course, this is split adjusted. Joe, but I don't know if you remember when AMC was all the way up here, split adjusted 393s is definitely higher than that, but. Yeah, decent little move here on the day today. I really got to zoom out for this. You can see here maybe some bidding happening, back-to-back green weeks right here. Is there any sort of significant volume on these two green weeks that we've started to bid into? Not really. I'm not really seeing anything too crazy just yet, but doing some relative volume on the day as of right now on the break of this trend. So that trend break, I guess, if you really want to quantify it, coming in and around $1.10, maybe $1.09. Last week closing in and around $1.12. On that close, and then we're getting that continuation to $1.30 today with that AMC bid. So I see that people are talking about that in the chat there. Paco saying I am in from 94 cents on AMC long. Great trade there, almost 50% up from your entry. So great stuff there. Yeah, $1.29 LOL. Oscar, let's take a quick look at Oscar. Some of you guys already mentioned that as well. OSCR, Oscar Health. Let's see what you're up to today. Go to a shorter time frame to see. Wow, look at this one, Joe. Clean bid all day long. Is it doing relative volume? Not really. Got like half times relative volume. So that's 0.5 times R vol, which means that it's doing less, roughly half of what it averages over a five-day time span. So that's what my RVol indicator measures. It measures the past 5 sessions and then gives us the relative volume on that. So currently it's only done about 1.41 million shares on the day. Normally average volume hits around 6.52 million. That's a 30-day average on this one. So definitely doing a lot less than it normally does here on Oscar Health. But yeah, what else are you guys trading? What else are you guys looking at here? Someone's saying that JPM sees more downside for Tesla on CNBC right now. Okay, it's always interesting to see what kind of opinions those guys on CNBC have at the same time. But I like to keep my biases a little reserved. The chart will speak for me more often than not. And Tesla does seem like it's catching a bit of a bid here right now. Some decent volume through that low, and then stepping right back in. But again, still well within the downtrend right here. You can just step up a couple frames here. 15-minute, maybe sure we're getting a bit of a hammer here. We still have 3 minutes left to finish printing this candle. But I'm going to stay patient. If the bid comes in, it'll show itself, and I can participate in taking a scalp off of that one there, but nothing crazy as of right now. But Google, we were just talking about, Google is breaking through its high of day.
Is it?
Some turbulence from last week, though, right? So this is a bit of an area where we did experience a bit of supply here, just shy of that 300. I don't know if we're going to get to 300 today, but it's not that far away. Right, we're trading at 298.70s, pre-market highs at 299.15s. If we continue to catch this bid,
it had a pretty strong session on Thursday there.
Yeah, it had a really strong session on Thursday as well. So this was that consolidation. Was it? No, it was prior day right here. This consolidation was interesting to me last Tuesday, where you have this straight leg up and a very tight sideways consolidation on 286s, and I was like, there's definitely a held bid, a held buyer kind of holding it up here. Just my opinion, that action was a little bit unnatural, and then you can see next day, coming in, boom, to the upside through 300. Next day as well, similar area, holds on the day low, and then boom, another strong bout of buying today, consolidating and holding up pretty strong relative to the rest of the market here on Google. So maybe looking for that continuation. I'll probably take a closer look at it if it can get back up to this prior week's high at 352. That's $300.52 there on Google, but it's still a couple dollars away from that point. So that's what I have on watch. That's what I'm watching. Let's take a look at some of these other tech names. I know Intel was doing some relative volume this morning. Let's see what that one's up to. ITC still pulling back into prior days highs here on INTC, so held that VWAP pretty well, and yeah, sellers definitely in charge on this one, and we saw Neil talking about this one as well. So yeah, pretty aggressive bid over the past couple of days, and it's holding up quite well, bigger picture, right? This thing was breaking out of, I would say, a multi-month consolidation here at that $24, $25 level, and you can see it just steps up into 40s, chop, chop, chop. Sure, it gives you like what, a 10, maybe like a $5 to $7 range here, and then steps up another $10 right here, $10, $15, 50s now, 50s. Wider range, sideways consolidation, holding up quite well. And again, this thing has a lot of headwind at the same time, right? So to be able to get past some of these levels, I think it definitely, in my opinion, would take some work, because those are multi-year highs here on Intel, 62.29 being the ultimate high there from 2021. So I think it in terms of trend, it does look like it's doing well in terms of holding prior supports, holding prior resistances as supports, and really kind of changing it up. And we saw that sentiment change right here. We got the presidential seal, it got the presidential bid, and we've been chopping our way to the upside on Intel since then. So I do like this chart bigger picture.
What's your
story that's been happening here?
I was gonna say, what's your game plan come 1 o'clock? Do you think are you thinking that we get a pretty good volatility spike? Or
maybe. I mean, I don't want to anticipate anything.
No, but yeah, you'd have to have a game plan, though, right?
Yeah. No, of course. Like the thing is, like if we have a aggressive move one way or the other, maybe I'm looking to fade that move depending on what is actually said, right? Or I'm just looking to get with the trend there, and maybe some of the things that I can exercise that idea on potentially are just straight up going to be USO creeping up into its highs there. So if we do get some some talk about situations heating up a little bit here. I think the high a day has shown itself. I talked about this bid back up capitulation at the lows, so that's a piece of information that price already kind of gave me here. So if I'm looking for a breakout, it'll be through that 139.29, but we were there last week, 140.75s, right? So if we can actually get through here, I like that for a quick scalp as well, but it seems like this 139 area has been holding as resistance. Now, if that changes, that could very well change on a volatility spike to the upside. Might get involved with that one there, or wait and see if supply kind of comes in. If supply comes in here as it has been all day long, maybe get involved with that as well. What if we slap all the way to the downside and we don't really break this 136, this kind of roughly capitulation on the day, with strong volume coming in, so that was defended quite well, 136.40s. If that comes into play, we'll see if it breaks down and has any sort of follow through, or if the buyers step right back in, maybe potentially get involved with them. So yeah, if it goes to the upside and it starts to hold supply, maybe fade. I want to potentially look to fade that as well, getting with what's already been happening. If we actually break out and continue, maybe a sustain above 140, give me some good opportunities there as well. On the downside, 136s. We'll see what happens there at the same time. So a couple different playbooks, right? We got reversion, we got range break, we got level hold. And yeah, that's kind of the different outcomes I'm potentially thinking about. That's if the market moves aggressively. It could also not move aggressively at all, and then I'm just going to continue sitting on my hands doing absolutely nothing until something falls into my lap, right? That's what I've realized as of recent. Like, there's no reason for me to spend mental capital in places where it's not really worth my time. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully we do get something. I would like for that to happen, but again, it doesn't really matter whether it happens or not. Like you said, what matters is have the game plan ready to go.
Yeah,
and if that shows up, ready to strike as well. And I think some of the best trades that I've had is just when I'm not necessarily in a position or haven't made too many decisions, something shows up, boom, you take that opportunity and then you move on to the next one as well. So I've only seen, I guess, a couple good trades today, yeah, I think the Apple reversion was definitely one of them. What else was there? I think there was one more, right? Apple reversion, and there was, oh yeah, the short on the buyout, the SLNO. I think the short off of the open was quite nice on this one as well. This one was absolutely thick. Wow, look at that bid. That's there we go. We got some more stuff here. See, I'm not watching everything. This is nice right here. I didn't get involved with this, but that's quite nice. Opening range break as well. Someone's definitely getting squeezed out of this one on the day with that aggressive volume coming in on SLNO. Yeah, off of the open, kind of getting with that trend was great. If you took a 5-minute opening range break, that worked really well as well. And this thing, as I mentioned before, very, very, very thick. Like you can, slap a few tens of thousands of shares and still be perfectly fine on this one here. I'll pull up the book and show you. Maybe I don't know if it's as thick as it was this morning. Probably not. But let's take a look and see SLNO on the Nasdaq. I think this is shares. I'll have to just make sure if this is actual shareage here. Does it show absolute size? Yeah, absolute share size. So those are 7,000 shares. So no, in the morning it was a lot more crowd. There was at least 20, 30 thou on the bid and the ask at any given time. Pretty sure it was SLNO. So other than those two opportunities, I didn't really see anything that really, jumped out at me and was like, hey, this is an A+ opportunity here on the day. So just waiting and watching for the next one, and maybe USO is the one where we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna see a little bit of the activity step in. Hasn't been doing much, man, and I'm gonna put this one personally to the side burner for a little bit. I'm gonna be classifying this relatively soon as something close to the silver trade as well. And what I'm referring to essentially is just like, look at this move here. This is all fun, right? Like you just essentially buy every dip. Boom, you have a high probability. But within this, slightly more messy. And I think as soon as this conflict comes to an end, we're going to fall into that world as well here with USO. So we'll keep an eye on it. I think it's the NASDAQ and USO via the TQQs is what I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. Here's Bitcoin. Volume, nice sustained buying pressure here in BTC. Putting in a monster day, kind of going oppo. I shouldn't say oppo, but I mean, it's significantly stronger than the overall market. And one thing to note is I like that we're holding up at this base. Like this base is really starting to be formed. And we were talking about this for quite some time, right? Like, hey, we want to find somewhat of a level where we're going to hold some indecision prints and some volume that's going to determine like this might be as low as we go for the foreseeable future. But if things get really bad, then that breaks, then watch out for some more downs, like substantially more. I think you would see another like 10, 15% easily of a haircut there on IBIT. Move into VWAP, into this trend line essentially, and we sit on the back side. And I was talking with Brando, you guys heard me this morning, it's just I think that people are a little bit cautious on getting involved in the crypto trade right now. We had these big liquidation events. Here is one of them on October 9th, right? So shout out to a couple days. This is my birthday right here. We put in that all-time high on your boy's birthday right there. We'll hit that one and we'll hit the stone cold. But then days later, everybody's losing the money with the liquidation events, and that's not necessarily a good thing. And it can sway traders and investors even from actually wanting to buy this stuff up front. So I think we need to wait for that new wave. We are in the middle of the halving cycle. I think it's 2 years ago sometime this week, to be honest with you. April or something along those lines is when it halves, right? So 2024, April of 2024, we're 2 years. We're right in dead smack in the middle of things. And then the latter half is something that I'm going to be really keeping my eye out on. That third year is usually typically a bullish one, right? So let's wait for the summer to come into play. Let's wait for some trend lines to be broken, and then maybe we can start rocking and rolling on Bitcoin once again. Like, let's, I was gonna say something, but I mean, let's put this Bitcoin trade back in play. Let's make it good again, and let's make it fun in the crypto space, because being down 50+%, 56% in Ethereum, that's not fun, right? Like, who wants to hold an asset that loses half of its value, especially when you have Wall Street and all the individuals there. You have the Tom Lees, you have the Dan Ives, who are continuously talking about this thing. They're hoarding it. The blockchain is going to be that universal tool, that universal ledger that everyone's going to be essentially using from obviously a data standpoint, and putting stable coins on it. The banks are going to be transitioning, and all this and all that, and then the fundamental, the base, the picks and shovels, the technology in which it's built on is essentially down 50%. Like, I don't know, it's really tough. And there's only a couple of things that we can go off with the Bitcoin case. And I think one weighing a little bit heavier than the other, store value, but also the finite amount of supply, right? Like, there's only so much of this stuff. You have institutions who are grabbing this stuff hand over fist, and then you have the other ones who are totally against it. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. It's a big time push and pull. And the bears, and I mean what I'm referring to, institutions grabbing their stuff hand over fist, is Michael Saylor, right? It makes things a little bit more difficult to say, hey, where are we going? But with a limited supply of something, and not a definitive use case yet, Obi, I think if you were to be able to use this as a specific currency, we know that there's, I think, it's not Honduras, or it might be Honduras or El Salvador actually adopted this as their base currency. Maybe Argentina took that into play too, just due to the hyperinflation. But somewhere in South America, they're actually using this thing for methods of payment. And then also you have other countries, like crypto is really big on the continent of Africa, right? Like it's significantly bigger. And then you go to Asia as well too, where you have the largest company, China, or the country China, saying, hey, essentially, you can't mine this stuff, you can't use this stuff anymore, but you have other places and other regions who are looking to adopt it. And then obviously everything from the Genius Act and the Stable Coin Act with, the Clarity Act with the United States, there is some upside, but right now things are a little bit damper. Okay, no problem. Let us know whenever you're ready, and we'll send it over for the recap. But other than that, guys, is there a potential short here in the overall market? Which direction are we going to be heading? What am I thinking here? Gaurav, this is my eyes here on the NASDAQ. 5 minute. We can put a trade up based off of this hammer right here. It breaks that high. Only have to risk so much. Looking for the short continuation. 20 minutes until Donald Trump speaks. So be prepared just in case. But we're going to send it off to Sia what's happening now.
Let's take a look at the IWM. IWM index is in the green today, up 0.4% at the moment. But what I want to talk to you about are a couple individual tickers here. So Sigma Lithium, SGML, is currently up 1.25%. Now, with the lithium rally that has been up in the past couple of months, I feel like this is the driving factor for this. No extreme, particular, dedicated individual news for this. But again, ARMP, Armada Pharmaceuticals, up 16.21% today. Annual stockholders meeting of the company will be taking place in their headquarters in Los Angeles on the 11th of June this year. And the company's deadline for stockholder proposals and director nominations under the bylaws, the deadline for this will be April 12th at 5 p.m. And SWMR, SWMR, currently is down 29%. A whopping 29%, but an unknown reason for this. And KTOS Defense, KTOS, is up almost 9% today. So now, analyst comments by Jefferies, it was raised from a hold to buy, but also there's a prediction that drone stocks will be jumping almost 26%, and this will be particularly dedicated to a growing missile demand. Also comments by Jefferies, and that's all, sending it back to you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. We're going to set up the poll here. We're going to give ourselves multiple options. Make sure you vote right there. We already got 305 votes, but we're going to get the more fun one. This is the question. Does DJT fade or pop the market at 1 p.m.? And we're going to put in option A, B, or C. We only need 2 there on that one, so we'll just do, does DJT fade or pop We could do up to 10. Yeah. I think we only need 2 there, Assassino. But we'll put that in. What does? Let's do that here. We'll do it on screen. Like I know Neil and all the boys over there using it, so I feel like a little bit of a rookie. Someone types in KTOS. That's okay. What does DJT do to the market? I don't know why I put capitals here. Option A, sell it off. Option 2, rip it, or neither. All right? Get those 1, 2s, or 3s in there. Start voting. What does DJT do to the market? I am going to say, we're going to put in 1, baby. Get those votes in. Let's see what we got going on. We have the vote right now. You guys are putting it in. Let's see what we have. We got to show the people in the chat here, see what we have with the voting. Did you vote? Type 1, what does DJT do to the market? Sell it off, rip it, or neither? A lot of people coming in at 20 are saying 1, sell it off, saying he's going to fade that one. I mean, there's a very high probability that that happens considering the overall sentiment, but get those votes in. Let's see, a lot stepping in right now. 3 is neither, so we're just going to continue to move sideways. Some people say, did I vote yet? I'm going to go with 1, right? Let's see if these guys can get a deal done. I know Iran isn't going to be overly easy to, what's up, Kilgore Trout? Hope everything's going on. What's up, Joey? I hope I hope he rips it, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. I'm spamming this. Yeah, do what you got to do, Rivian. Keep hitting that 1. We know what you're voting there now. A couple more votes, 477 votes on the other poll. Let's get some more votes in here. Bitcoin putting in a new high of the day, up almost 5%, Obi, 4 and roughly 3/4 there. So that's a pretty good look in the Bitcoin space. Market slowly grinding higher. Not too sure what Tesla's been up to ever since, but he's going to say bring the rain. I mean, that's not going to be good for the overall market, especially if it's raining lead and metal. You don't necessarily want that. Watched a pretty dramatic documentary last night, actually, on some other things. What you going to short, Joey? I don't know. I don't know yet. We're going to wait, man. We took our couple attempts. So our at-bats, we had 2 at-bats there on Tesla, TSLL, and then we ground out, essentially. So we're like, hey, we're going to kick that one to the curb. Let's switch things up and see if we can find something else for us to potentially trade here. I don't see anything right now. Obi, you've yet to take a trade today, which is good. Sitting on your hands is the ideal thing, and nice work on that. I think that's definitely the way to go until that 1 o'clock time comes into play, and then we have Donald Trump speaking, which will bring all that we can to you on that front.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, definitely going to be 15 more minutes here until the president is on the mic. So going to be patient for that to potentially come in. There are a few things that are working as of right now, and that is that Google breakout that I was talking about earlier. So Google continuing slow and steady, nothing too crazy. Those 289s, 299.30s is now the day's high. So we've started to break out of this pre-market high here as well. So maybe we do get to that 300 mark. Prior week's high, just a reminder, is sitting at 352 pennies. So good look there on that one. Amazon yet to break out on Amazon, still continues to flag here near the highs. Maybe we're just waiting. We're patiently waiting, kind of accumulating all day long, and maybe we do get that aggressive bid there as well. But yeah, what did you guys vote? What did you vote for this one here?
I voted 1.
Fade the pop, buy the dip, go with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So nice. Make sure you guys get your votes in on that one there. I just said go with the flow.
Yeah, I think that was the gimme on that one.
It's well divided between all 3 different choices there. You can see 36%, 37% with the top and the bottoms, and then 27 with buy the dip there on that one there. So Uno saying Michael being a rider. Yeah, maybe we get that Uno reverse on at 1 o'clock. So I'll be looking out for that as well. How are guacamole futures doing today saying Jesse Martinez. Maybe that's a bit of a shot at the taco trade, maybe? Is that what you mean? I'll wait and see. You know, I forget who it was, but we had a guest on last week, and he said, hey, taco stands for Trump always creates opportunity. And I was like, wow, that's beautiful. Like, that's going to be my definition of taco now, because I didn't hear that one before. And opportunity, definitely, he does create in the markets. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, last year in April, the president was like, yeah, this is a great time to buy. Guess what? Pull up any tech chart. Pull up a lot of these other names there. April were the lows. April were the lows, and then we kind of just rocketed off of there. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta you know, just go with the flow. And if he says something and you see that confirmation come in, then yeah, maybe potentially get involved as well. So I think that was I always say that because I find it a little funny here. But when you go to the weekly, you can see here this is on the SPY. Take a look at April right there. Talk about a bit of maybe some capitulation as well. Strongest volume bar on the pickup there, and that was in the beginning of April, the week of April 7th. Boom. Since then, nice slow, steady climb up there, and now consolidating sideways here. Yeah. I don't know. I'll be watching for that. I want to see if this dip gets bought up. We can see that we had back-to-back pretty red weeks here since the middle to end of February on the SPY. You can see breaking down some prior levels here as well. We've seen over the past few weeks. Seems like as of right now, getting bought right back up. So you got to remember. Some of the fades, some of the sell-offs on this vehicle, you can see some of them last a lot longer. Some of them are very short when it's aggressive. I don't know how aggressive this necessarily is relative to the April bid, but so far we've been technically still holding higher lows on the strongest pull down we've had since then, right? Which is what I'm talking about right now, the past few weeks. You can see that since last April, we didn't really have that many aggressive pullbacks. So is this just a correction? We're going to continue pushing up. I have no idea, but I was reading this stat about how during the past few conflicts, the bottom is in roughly within 40%, the initial 40% on average of the duration of said conflict. The market bottoms out for a next push up. So I don't know. We'll wait and see when the conflict is coming to an end there. But I'm waiting. I'm watching this kind of action very closely here. We'll be right back from SIA.
Yeah, just a real quick update about EVR here. I have a couple analyst commentaries maintained at outperform by Bread Financial Holdings, which has lowered their price target to $87. By Baxter International, again, price target lowered to $22. And outperform on Bank of America has lowered price target to $55. And outperform on BKV, price target has been increased to $33. Sending it back to you.
All right, thank you very much for that, Sia. So yeah, I'm not really seeing anything other than some of the same stuff I was watching before. Apple continues to hold that VWAP, so you know, sellers very much still in charge on this one here. Look at the clean retests of VWAP here, guys. So after we broke down, sure, that continuation is potentially coming in, but the past 3 times we got any sort of a bid in towards VWAP, 1, 2, and 3, we've held as a bit of a supply zone. We did break down of that 259 level here, but no real follow on the initial push. But I think again, you got to remember, you got to read the charts, see what it's telling you. It's telling you that yeah, sellers are in charge, and guess what? It may be in and around VWAP since about 11:30 every time. The sellers are not necessarily here at 259. That's just the a potential breakdown level, but the sellers are here at VWAP at 259s or 60s here, and that was over the past 3 attempts at that level. We could continue to kind of go sideways, or this could be a nice continuation push here as well. Just might be taking a longer time to follow through on Apple, but sorry.
Oh, I'm talking to Fabian. I don't know if you can hear me, but he was talking.
No, so Google's actually going for it. So it seems like we may get that 300 test today, only about 50 pennies away from that. And it's been a slow, steady kind of climb through the high day breakout, through some VWAP holds as well. But I think really confirmation for a breakout comes in right here for me. And I do like the fact that we kind of held up pretty well all day long as well. So Google is the only one that is looking distinctly different when it comes to the Mag 7 here, to the upside. Now, Tesla probably is, Tesla is the weakest right here as well. Yeah, weaker than the rest of the Mag 7. So definitely, when it comes to a catalyst-driven move, it can very easily do its own thing relative to the market. And we're seeing that Tesla is doing exactly that. It's doing its own thing, very seller dominant. We tried to, I guess, get to 350. 350.73 is the low day here on Tesla. Let's see if I mean, 350, I like that as a whole number. Kind of arbitrary. Let's go back and check in and around this area. Has there been any recent support or any sort of levels here? I'm not really seeing anything too crazy on Tesla. So in the past couple of weeks is what I'm looking for here. But I'm sure if we go higher, sure we can find a lot more potential levels here. I'll just go straight up to an hourly chart on Tesla. You can see here, okay, that's interesting. This is where the buying came in September of last year. A nice little consolidation breakout of that 370 area. So interesting stuff. It does seem like we're coming into a key level here on TSLA, but bigger picture, we've been selling off pretty decently from that 500 test, right? Everyone was so excited for that Tesla 500 to potentially come in, and we basically, you know, there was no, I don't even know if I can call it a failure to follow through of 500, but it was a failure to test 500. You can see we kind of wicked that high there. What was this day specifically? The highest point was 22nd of December last year. So pretty good stuff there, and getting continuation, in my opinion, still off of that 500. Failure to follow through there on TSLA as we break back below some of prior week's levels. So that 350 maybe potentially coming in here at the same time. What's up, Sia?
Yeah, let's talk about FUBO here. So shares of FUBO TV are surging after the company has reported that it's expecting to report a positive cash flow by fiscal 2027. So now by fiscal 2028, the company expects to report at least $300 million in adjusted EBITDA, and the stock currently is up 24%, but the company has fallen 61% year to date.
Great, thank you very much. What do you got? You looking at anything right now?
Yeah, we're getting prepared to listen to good old Donald Trump there.
Yes, sir.
Coming up momentarily, getting carried by but I mean, hey, let's be patient. Let's wait, guys, and see what we got going on here with DJT. Looking forward to that. A nice short signal on the 1 minute on IBIT. Starting to come back in at that break. I'm waiting for a pullback now, but at this point, we may as well just wait a couple of more minutes. Zion, any reason why MGRT going up? Is that strategy? Is that micro strategy? Is that the preferables on MicroStrategy? I was looking for the MGRT. Mega Fortune? Oh no, I have no idea. Mega Fortune is an investment, a holding company, personally engaged in Internet of Things IoT solution providing business. The company mainly provides the Internet of Things integration solution services, business process outsourcing services. No, we can figure that out here relatively quick. But what is that strategy preferable note ticker there, guys? Look at Bitcoin really start to come back in here. Oh man, we had it. Oh my God, why didn't we take it? Yo, what's going on, Anosphere? Let me know what that STRC. Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys are the best, literally. Crazy, just like that. Know everything. That's what I'll say. MGRT. Let's see, why are we going up? Trade halt, Mega Fortune pause due to volatility. A volatility spike. Pause. Yeah, I don't see anything right now on my news feed right here, guys, but having just volatility halts. The statement is document shall not be considered. Yeah, so it's just a volatility halt pause due to volatility. Let's pull this bad boy up, actually, and see what we got going on over there. Bye-bye. Yeah, there goes Bitcoin, man. A nice risk-to-reward ratio trade as it runs into that 66 mark. But I'm like, do I really want to be going against stronger names? with Bitcoin climbing, but that channel relatively weak as the market is really starting to pick up a little bit of momentum to the downside as we get prepared. Only 3 minutes away from Donald Trump himself about to speak. C is ready, we're ready, Obi's ready. Joey's seen a great YouTube video here with GSP and Thomas DeLucier for your super interesting, lots of knowledge for your super, like George St. Pierre, GSP. It's the only GSP I think I know. Moving forward, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah, we're going to pull up our MGRT chart and see what we got going on. Is this a Sharif world, MGRT? Oh, it's 19 bucks. Okay. This thing's been going absolutely bonkers here today. Very illiquid, though. Look at this. Even on the yeah, you can't. This isn't tradable, in my opinion, from an intraday standpoint. Like, you have no idea, essentially, what's going on there. So we'll keep an eye on. Oh, we won't, actually, but, I mean, we'll see what we got going on. Yeah, there we go. But other than that, guys, it's, you can't. Yeah, no, you can't. Mike Peter Ryder, you're right. But there goes Bitcoin to the downside. Market heading lower too here, Obi, as NVDA is heading lower. So it's not too good of a look. We're only moments away here from Donald starting his speech. I'm getting prepared to listen to it. C is doing the exact same thing. Obi's getting prepared. He's got Twitter up as well too. So we're gonna do our best to bring you guys essentially what this guy has to say. And like, listen, if I'm a betting man, which I think at the end of the day I would consider myself one, is that this guy's going to say he's prepared to do whatever he has to do. It's going to be over soon, and then he'll bomb them a little bit more, which is unfortunate. And they're not afraid to go after some of their energy resources at the end of the day, considering he's already threatened to do that on multiple occasions. And I don't think he's going to step back on the fact that he said, yeah, you guys have until Tuesday until 8 p.m. to come up with a deal. Or we're going to get a little more aggressive, and you're going to see some more lead flying from the sky, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think those last week we kind of observed on Wednesday night how aggressive he was getting with some of his comments. But yeah, it makes sense. They want that the conflict to be over as soon as possible. At least they're posturing in that kind of manner. Yeah, no, we'll wait and see. 138, a little bit of a spike here in volume on USO coming in. What's up? So a little bit of a spike coming in here with volume on USO, increasing volume, pulling us right back up into 138 halves. Hasn't really gone through that high a day just yet. So I am watching this here. We can pull it up on a different chart. But yeah, some higher lows here. So we did hold the bid above this action that I earlier defined as a little bit capitulatory. 139.29s is the high of day on USO. Prior day highs. Let's just mark it up a little bit here. You know what? Yeah, we can do that in some preparation, as you know, we're still waiting for Trump to kind of come in here. I'm hearing the voice feed is on now, so I can hear some sound coming from the press conference there. So just gonna mark up some of these levels. If we do potentially come into some of these levels, then maybe, is this the opening range high? Yeah, this is. Okay, cool. We'll wait and see if any of these levels potentially come in. I got the close there as well, boom, right there. So some confluence there with some opening range lows happening there. Do I really want that one? Nah, it's fine. Less is more, less is more. So we'll wait and see if that 139 comes in with any sort of umph. We're already getting some selling here on the markets coming in, and then some bids happening as well on USO. Is there anything? No, people are just reading papers at the front, in front of the podium here. Okay, yeah, no, I'll be tuned in. We'll wait and see what will happen. Cover here for you live as the president comes in for his press briefing right here. So it is 1:01, and as soon as he steps on, I'll let you guys know.
That's what the poll should have been: is will Donald Trump be on time?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
I would take a bet on that.
Of his press conferences. So
No.
can't count on it anymore.
No, that's easy. That's the easy money bet there.
Exactly.
Oh, is that on Polymarket, Obi? Let's find out. If that's not on Polymarket, then what are we even doing here? I mean, but I think I don't even think it would be even fair.
What would you search up? President on time?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
We'll go over to the politics here and see what we got going on. We can always create our own line as well too, Obi.
Yeah. I've actually never been on Polymarket.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was this cricket here? Collecting Knights versus the Punjab Knights. That's crazy. I didn't even know you could bet on anything here. We were talking about this not too long ago. U.S.-Iran ceasefire buy. Okay. So by December, 75% saying yes.
Yeah, a lot of people think it'll be done by the end of the year. But I think that's a. Is it a safer bet? Because it's kind of like getting long dated options, right?
Yeah, I think it would. I think that's definitely the smarter play. Like the market is tanking here, guys. I'm over here on Polymarket. What did? Bro, that was like a 30-year war. Vietnam?
The Vietnam War took 10 years.
Oh yeah, are you sure? I thought it was a pretty long time, and it was. let's figure it out here. Yeah, we're gonna head over to see Donald Trump speaking here momentarily. Let's see what we got going on here. I see ya. What do you got?
Just a quick update that the U.S. military is planning for potential strikes on more Iranian energy targets, as Wall Street Journal is saying, currently sending it back to you.
Yeah, I mean, a 20-year, 55 to 75. It's crazy. It's a long time. It was longer. That's longer than 10 years. That's 55 to 75. It only lasted competitive. Yeah. So it was definitely a longer war. I remember that. 20 years, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. Let's be patient. The man himself is still not speaking. What will Trump say during the news? Okay, how many times will he say obliterate? We have this one up here. What is the line looking up there? Power, strength. We know that those are probably, obliterate is probably going to be in there for sure. Yeah, exactly. So there it is. Iran 15 plus times. How many times? All right, guys, let's chat. Let's do this live here. We're looking for some potential trades. Polymarket here as well, too. Are you guys over under on him saying Iran 15 plus times?
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. What do you think, Obi? Do you think he says Iran 15 plus times or Iranian 15 plus times? Or what are you thinking here? See, over or under 15?
15.
Over 15.
And I think he's also going to say obliterated over 15 times.
Obliterated over 15 times. That's a big bet. How about you, Obi?
Yeah, I don't know. If I were to have some fun. Wow, there's some interesting words in there as well.
Like Biden.
Yeah,
Are you going to bring up Biden
right
there? Where? 10% where?
The only 10% at the top. Right there.
Where?
No, right in the middle. Your mouse is right above it, right there. The next one down. I'm sure we can't say that. There you go. It's some interesting verbiage on some of those bets as well. But no.
Does he mention the moon as well too? Like there's a lot.
Oh yeah, because the Artemis. That's what it was called, right? The Artemis 2 launch as of recent.
What a short on IBIT, man. Should have took that one. Is this guy speaking yet or what?
No, he's not. He's not here
definitely
yet.
on time.
I'm on the White House's YouTube.
Okay, so let's see, man. How many times? Like, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat there, guys. How many times is this guy gonna say, "Oh, we got some unders, some overs for sure"? Over. What else? Put it in there. Over from Heart to Heart Media. Himmy Namal saying over. This is big, says Lemon's family. Not necessarily correlated with the pool we were just talking about. Under says Merez. Okay. Under says Slow Motion Joe. That's crazy with the under. Put it in over under in the chat there, guys, and see what we got going on. My boy Stevenson saying over. How many times have you tried? Oh, okay. Okay, Jay Lee. This guy. Anyways, Gavin Ross saying under. Alpha Simply saying over as well. Under on Iran by Johnny T. Johnny Test, baby. And that's a kid's show, I'm pretty sure, Johnny Test. But other than that, guys, like you can see that the market headed right back towards the lower end of the range. So it's only a matter of time. once this guy starts speaking, it's like that one time where Jerome Powell just said like good afternoon and the stock market tanks. So I mean, as soon as he opens his mouth, the market's going to react, and then you might even see a little bit more reaction when he starts getting into a little bit more detail as well. Like, hey, we're not giving these guys any longer of a timeline. That's it, Tuesday, 8 p.m. You better come with a conclusion. We need to draw something up to get this straight open, and if not, we're going to drop some more bombs, which is going to be absolutely detrimental and obliterate, obviously, the Iranian infrastructure. Sia, what do you have for us?
So Netflix has doubled down on its family-friendly content, and it has expanded kids' entertainment lineup with the Playground app, which is currently live now. Currently, Netflix is trading up 0.16%.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Wow. So while we weren't looking, Tesla broke that 350. So that's
it headed lower.
Yeah, it's at 348.
Oh yeah,
now,
I'm glad that we abandoned. I'm glad that we abandoned ship on that one, Obi.
Yeah, no, this seems like sellers are definitely very much in charge here on Tesla, pretty much all day long. But what is looking distinctly different here is USO coming right back up into those day highs. So again, I was looking for this move maybe potentially to happen while he was speaking, or maybe even after, but it's coming in before. So that's interesting here. It is breaking out of that high a day. No real follow through just yet as we pull right back into 139.25s. What was the high before? It was 139.29. So currently we only got up to about 139.50. Roughly 11 pennies higher on the high day break, but we got a lot of room to go. I've already marked out some of the levels that I am more interested in. Take a look at that. That one's 140, 140.75s potentially. And all day long, we're just consolidating, right? And a strong bid that came in here at around 10:30. As well as a bit of a piece of information for me. We'll wait and see what happens here. Here we go. He is coming on right now. So I got to turn this up here in my ear, and we shall see. Oil prices rise. U.S. crude climbs above $112 a barrel.
Yeah. It's definitely a tougher look. Thanks, Sia, for that. 112 smackers. What's US open up to? I haven't even been looking at it here today. Patina Man's back in the building, prepared for 1 o'clock. He's got his lunch. I don't know what happened. Raquel must not be in the office today because your boy ordered a...
Guys, sorry about that.
So there goes, no, interrupt. That's all that me talking about tilapia is way less important on what we got going on here compared to Donald Trump, right? So we need to listen to what he's up to. I got it in my ear. Sia's paying attention. Everyone across the board, everyone in the building is getting prepared for the next potential move here in the market. But what I was getting at, even if it's completely irrelevant, but I requested a long time no tilapia, and I got tilapia on my plate. And you requested no tilapia. Yeah, but you could. But I typically don't get it. Assassino might have even got that as too, and he gets salmon every day. I might have to. Oh my God, this is crazy. It's falling apart around here. Anyways, here he is. Here we go, guys. He's getting ready to say something. USO onto the top side. How is the market reacting? He's talking about Easter, how Easter was great, right? Great Easter. Best Easter ever. All right. Other than that, I got him in my ear, guys. We'll ramble on a little bit more. Here's USO up 1.2%. Obviously, everything is the best when he's in office. Easter's great. All right.
Oh, he's saying the entire country can be taken out in one night. That's what he's saying right now.
That you just said? Yes.
Yeah.
Better get live.
He's still kind of, talking about that right now. Always getting a bid to the upside here, 140. So I did kind of sit up as soon as I saw some of that volume start to come in here. 140, 139.95 is the current high as of right now here on USO. The market's pulling right back in here as well. We're getting some extension continuing to sell off here on some of these names here as we break down. Tesla continues to make fresh lows on Tesla. Apple continues now following through on that 259 breakdown as well.
So I'm saying here that the entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night could potentially be tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, definitely oil is going to move around on that. We got that spike up into 140s. So watching this closely, we've had buyers here on the market in this area, especially on the NASDAQ all day long, in and around, what is this, 25252s-ish. So we're coming into that daily or intraday support on the NASDAQ. So waiting and watching. Nothing too crazy just yet. Right, we did get some volume spikes here on USO up into 140, but hasn't really pushed through 140 just yet. That's coming in as of right now as we speak. 140, some 500 lots roughly on top of 140. Let me just pull this in. Not all my level 2s have absolute share size, so I got to throw that on right now on that one. So 140 coming in on USO as we break out of that one.
Oh, USO on.
Throw on the filter there. So yeah, 140 coming in pretty aggressively now with that follow through that prior high a day, the double triple top that we had at 139. So a decent, but a dollar follow through there on that one. And Apple right here, the beautiful stuff as we continue to sell off pretty aggressively. But yeah, I'm just gonna be patient for the opportunity to present itself. Anybody who got in on that day breakout or high day breakout there and that little pullback, I guess that was quite nice there. But nothing too crazy in terms of volatility, right? We've had a steady bid, and that bid came in coming into 1 o'clock. And even though he stepped onto the podium a few minutes late, we still get that continuation through those highs. So I'm just gonna be patient, waiting, watching, listening. There goes the market through its day lows right there as these futures are getting that continuation of sellers coming in. What do you got going on? What's your game plan?
Yeah. I'm gonna wait for this pullback here now. I wanted it off of this high here, but we never got that pullback. Continued selling, but the volume is definitely starting to uptick, right? So now it's just like, hey, another attempt. We come back into this range and curl over and continue to the downside. You still haven't pulled the trigger on anything. I personally haven't. Bitcoin lost all of its gains from here earlier today. So like from 1150 all the way to 1250, we'll call it, right? So an hour gone in 5, 10, 15 to 25 minutes in half the time. So see you later, AC Slater, to that one as we now tap into 4330s on the TQQs and continue to bleed. USO up 1.6% here, folks. $140, okay? So this is a big time move. It was only a matter of time. We waited for Donald to speak. He's extremely hawkish. It doesn't sound too good right now. Borderline, I'm not going to say aggressive or anything, but obviously the United States, stating that the United States has the best military, how good the pilots have done at rescuing the other F-15 pilot or 55, whatever the warplane was. Other than that, he's prepared, man. It doesn't sound like there's going to be any form of a conclusion to this conflict anytime soon. Iran's not cooperating, and Donald Trump is prepared to drop some more bombs, which isn't going to be good things. So be patient, guys. Wait for an opportunity to get involved in the overall market here. You can see that USO up 1.5%, continuing to climb, almost at that previous. Is that all-time highs on this thing? Let's figure it out, because we have USO. Figure it out. Let's see what we got going on from a daily. Yeah, there it is. It's not even relatively close, I don't think, at this point. $140. Were we ever that high? No, not for quite some time. 124 back in January of 2019, 7 years ago. Okay, yeah, oh, wow, okay, there's splits, though. Okay, you have to take into consideration the splits. Are they reverse splits as it continues to climb? So there it is on USO, putting in a new weekly high there. Obi, I know you like looking at the higher time frames. New high since the conflict started. February, right, is when we really start rocking and rolling. You get a 73% gain right here. So the oil trade, someone was asking not too long ago, Obi, are we going to continue to climb here in USO? So far, the answer has been yes. The market's moving to the downside. Definitely weak. for the tech names, for the S&P. The banks haven't been performing well. You have to find that rotation, and it seems to be the narrative of moving into that energy trade because it's continuously climbing. The industrials trade also working out as well. Staples at the beginning of the rotation working pretty good, but not so much anymore. So those two sectors seem to be the dominant ones as of late, as everyone else continues to slide, and the NASDAQ not too far off of its low of the day.
Yeah, a bit of a bounce here happening on that 24,200 on the NASDAQ. Continuing to watch this USO hold above 140 as of right now. What's going on, Sia?
Yeah, just a quick update on Meta here. Meta is preparing to release the first AI models developed under Alexander Wang, and the new models will eventually have open source license according to Axios.
All right, thank you very much there, Sia. Bit of a pullback here. I think I like the action that's happening here around 140, but I'm just being a little patient to see wait when he steps off the podium there. Still talking. As of right now, he's just taking some inventory about everything that was going on in I think what are they calling it, Operation Epic Fury. But yeah, USO holding above this 140, so in trend, holding some higher levels here on the day. We did talk about prior day's high coming in at 140.75. Haven't quite got there just yet, but consolidating, right? We're consolidating. We'll go to a shorter time frame here on a 1 minute. You can see here, I marked out that 140, and this consolidation so far is supporting on top of that 140 with only about a 30 to 40 penny kind of chop above it. So a nice little sustain of that. Yeah, definitely poised maybe to go a little bit higher if we're going to continue in this trend. You can see the bid already started coming in from much before into that high day break, and then now stepping up higher there as well. So definitely post capitulation, buyers in charge makes a little bit of sense to me. That's what the chart's been saying. We're going to be patient. A bit of a bounce here on the market could give us a pull right back in to that 139 level. What's up, Sia?
Yeah, just a couple comments from U.S. President Donald Trump here speaking. The market is reacting negatively to the conference. You can see the market is dipping here right in front of me. But he's also saying that Iran has allowed a French container ship to cross the Strait of Hormuz after over a month stuck in the Gulf. This is as per reports from Bloomberg. If any other things comes up, of course, I'll keep you updated.
Okay, that's some good news there. Letting some ships through. We'll wait and see if there's any sort of stronger action here. 140, just chilling. We're just chilling on top of 140. So we got that bid, we got the high day breakout, and then now we're kind of stalling, consolidating. Not really getting too strong of a read on this just right now. But I'll be patient. We've got to be, where's the next trade, the next opportunity? I think, yeah, sure, if you wanted to front run some of this, you got that breakout level at 139s and some change. But if we're going to chop around, you can see I marked out that 140.75, which is like, if I'm really going to try to fade some of this move, do I have to risk up to there? Do I risk up to current day structure highs, which is at 140.42s? Not really very clear just right now. So I'm going to be patient. I think, yeah, definitely better to make some calls on at least high volatility or when he stepped off, because I can get into a position right now, it can be looking like one thing, he says one thing, and then boom, we're going the other way. So I don't necessarily want to get rocked in a potential swipe risk there. So being patient, waiting for him to kind of finish talking here as he's continuing. Let's see what you guys are doing in the chat here. Let's see, FSLY, Fastly. Yeah, we can take a quick look at Fastly here. FSLY, what is Fastly doing? Fastly is not doing anything too crazy. Strong flush off of the open there and making lower highs and lower lows on the day on FSLY. There's some fresh highs on USO. We're past, I guess, 50s printed. No, so we did kind of bid right back up. So that consolidation is holding that 140 as a bit of current support currently. So that's what I have on watch. Gonna be patient though. I don't know, not really seeing anything too crazy just yet. the short was nice. I mean, if you were sitting short on a few of these names like Apple, which was holding underneath its VWAP, or Tesla, that's just been trending all day long, that's at 347s, or even Amazon, which was consolidating at the highs and then broke that consolidation low, right? So there's a few different ways you could have definitely taken with trend trades on the day today. Wow, that's a bit of size on 140.20s. On USO gets taken just like that. You got to remember this thing trades off of oil futures, and that's where the real volume and the real dollar volume is really being transacted. The whole world watching oil right now. Those futures are where some of the biggest players are definitely participating in some of these moves. So got to keep an eye on those as well. And just before he started speaking, we got a level there about I think it was at like 119s, right? 119s a barrel. So interesting stuff to say the least.
See, you brought us that number as well, too, talking about the barrels of oil, Obi. Do you see anything that you're liking? I know you had USO on your mind. I have the TQQs here for a potential trade and a continuation to the downside. Volume did step in, but now we're starting to find somewhat of a rebound. What's the game plan? Run into prior structure that acted as support. We allow that to act as resistance, we get that curl over, and then maybe we can start to rock and roll and party a little bit to the downside. Obi has to check FSLY. I'm like, why isn't the TQs tanking? What's up, dear Ollie? Hope everything's going good on your end. We'll take out FSLY momentarily. Man, oh man, what a print here on IBIT, and I had the short 39.82 all the way down to 38, just straight flush to the downside here on Bitcoin. That channel, weakness, and then sure enough, off to the races it goes, puts in that new high. I think it's really close to correlating with that pre-market high. Yeah, right. There's no way. Okay, no, it's a little bit higher, right? But the body of it, so we closed right around that 39.85 mark, and then sure enough, off to the races, we go to the downside. It's like slope styles over here, guys, just straight speed down the hill, essentially, for IBIT, and it hasn't been a good look and hasn't found any form of rebound. So an all-day grind in IBIT gone in the span of a half an hour or so, which is never really fun to be a part of here. So, Sia, what do you have?
Yeah, U.S. President Donald Trump talking here. Really important that somebody apparently leaked some information that he's speaking about currently, and we're looking to find the leaker. We're going to go to the media company that released it, and they will either have to comply or go to jail because they leaked national intelligence.
Thank you for that, Sia. Yeah, guys, I'm starting to agree too. I think we're ending the near. There goes silver to the top side, 65.92. It's been pretty choppy here today. Nice break through the resistance zone right here. Now let's see how we're going to act on the TQQs, right? Are we going to reject this support level? Always short USO as the market is going higher. That's the play, in my opinion. Nice move right there, Obi. TQQs climbing. Are we going to reject VWAP, or are we going to continue on the northeast trajectory and start to find somewhat of a rebound? We have the initial flush lower, and then we're starting to bounce back. Bang says Gorev on AMD 3-minute. Let's see what Advanced Micro Devices is up to. A nice little bounce there in AMD. Not too bad. Good print there on the 3. Break of that high. Quality entry. That's exactly what we want to see. So nice work on that one there, Gorev. As it looks like it wants to continue to climb. So not too bad of a look there on AMD as the tech sector is finding somewhat of a bottom, it seems like. Aside from Tesla, right? Like, what are you up to? Ooh, dangerous. Glad, see, like, imagine we held on to this. I'm so glad that we got out at the break and we're like, you know what? Let's not try to do this play anymore. So what I was getting at, so yeah, it is the Model X and the S, fully out of production. And then these guys essentially overproduce 50,000 vehicles. You know what I mean? So like you're sitting on some inventory. That's not good. 50K, and it's kind of like the retail space. If you make too much and no one really wants it, then what are you gonna do to get rid of your inventory? And if you start putting in all these discounts and incentives, what happens to your margins? So you're operating not very profitable for that bottom line. It's not good. And I think that's the narrative that Tesla's in. The future is in robotaxi. It's in Elon Musk's best interest to get this thing rolling as fast as he possibly can. The geofence in Austin starting to slowly expand. But Waymo, if you want to talk about, aside from FSD miles, Waymo has substantially more autonomous vehicle miles than what Tesla has. And they're in more cities. Breno was telling me actually in 2027, I believe, is when the contract for Waymo starts here in Toronto. In Toronto, they're also in the Miami region, the Florida region, they're in San Francisco and California, and yet we're sitting over here with Tesla and its autonomous stuff, and they can't get out of the geofence of Austin, Texas. Like this guy's really got to get the ball moving, in my opinion, on some of these things. And I just think that this vehicle coming in at $30,000, it's going to be attractive to a lot of individuals. So, yeah, I think. I think it's really important for Elon Musk and company. How long are we going to remain forward-looking on this? I understand the robotics and autonomous, but essentially you need to start to bring some things out on the bottom line, and I think that's really important for the company. Obi, what do you got going on?
Nothing much, man. Just taking a quick little tape scalp here. If you guys heard, I was just like, oh, that was a lot of size sitting on. Oh, there's a bit of flush happening. I was like, there's a lot of size sitting at that 140.20s, and I was like, okay, that was the biggest kind of transaction that went through on the lit market there on USO, and boom, sellers step in on the break back through that 140. So yeah, I caught, you know. With the initial, I caught some of that there as well. Where's my USO here? So yeah, so you can see I didn't get as aggressive as I wanted to. There's no real follow through. Just there's follow through coming in now. I think I covered a decent chunk of it right here for a quick 20, 30 pennies. I mean, realistically, I should be getting in like at 140.20s. I hesitated just a bit and then caught that 140 breakdown as well. But, you know, nothing too crazy, just scalping it out right now. Again, this was an area of supply yesterday or prior trading day, and it comes in. We marked those levels up. We talk about, you know, being prepared for potential areas, potential trades there. I was just like 140 is going to be interesting. 140.75s is also going to be interesting as well. And I was just like, yeah, slow, steady, you know, front run up into that 1 p.m. He finished talking. There's another gentleman on the mic right now, yeah. So I'm sure he might come back for closing remarks. But as of right now, that 140 was definitely a lot of interesting stuff happening there. Wow, here we go back into 139.5. So absolutely beautiful. Let's see if we're coming back into the area which was prior day highs. So not prior day's highs, today's high a day. So prior intraday highs at 139.20s-ish. I think it was 139.29, coming back into that area here as well. And on the run up pre-1 o'clock, we had that consolidation that did hold up on top of those levels as well. So we're coming right back in. Let's see now. Question becomes, that resistance did turn into support intraday. Is that still support as of right now is the next question that I'm asking here. But yeah, definitely an opportunity to potentially add here in the 139.80s, but I didn't really take it. If I'm getting in serious size, I think it would have been right here 140.20s. But I'll take whatever I can get. Right, quick little scalps there. Hadn't really taken a trade before this on the day today, and you guys already know how I'm starting to roll as of recent. Just got to be patient for the opportunities that are really worth my time, and then hit it to the best of my abilities. Again, I got to get it a little bit better. That's the next step, right? Hitting it with a little bit more aggression, especially when I have a lot more conviction of something following through here. Take a look at this swipe right back up here on the NASDAQ. Oh boy. So we got that flush down. We broke down those day lows there into 24,260s. Flushes down. Nice little bounce off of 24,200s, and that bounce wiping right back up. So look at these two 15-minute candles. Nice little symmetry on those two candles there. Strong red to the downside, strong green to the upside, coming right back in as if nothing happens, right? So I do like some of those reversion trades, but again, oil didn't really get all the way back down to VWAP, right? I think the action's a little bit more nuanced here in terms of how we came into that 140, but. Yeah, just taking some more off here. Just holding on to a bit of a breadcrumb here. But yeah, a quick little scalp on that 140 failure to follow through. I think definitely a bit of a failure to follow through. And we got the tape turn which was nice. More confluence with size actually showing up. So we talk about, capitulatory action that happens on the book, on the tape, when things are, when buyers and sellers are about to exchange hands. So there was a good confirmation of that as well, just above that 140. Doing it live. Doing it live.
All right.
So, quick little scalp there. Got lucky with that one. But where's the next trade? That's what I'm waiting for here. And hopefully we continue to get a little bit of volatility going into the end of the day on the US of O. Coming right back into 139 halves now. So gonna be patient. This was the level that I'm talking about. This was prior intraday highs right there. I'll mark that off. We'll make that a different color because I don't necessarily want this on the chart for very long, as I do think some of the other levels hold a lot more precedent for me. But we'll just do, that's not as visible. We'll just do like a blue line there. So we'll see how well this holds now. Does that prior morning session resistance turn into support? The first sign of us interacting with that level does show us that there might be a little bit of support there. But wait and see. Wait and see. I have no idea. I have no idea what the market is going to do. And the gentleman just finished. And okay, cool. We have some more speakers here now coming in. So we'll wait and see. At the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily just have to be the president saying something. Anybody can say something there and kind of confirm or deny how much more aggressive things are going to get with Iran. So going to be patient. And at the end of the day, like, even if I wasn't listening to the conference, the tape and the book said a lot more in terms of exercising opportunity than anybody else did. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice trade there on USO, though. That's a good one. Waited all day, little precision. So you had the game plan. You're ready. You'd like to take a little bit more size, but I mean, it is what it is.
It wasn't that convincing. That's why I was just like, if we actually capitulated, we got to 140.70s, and then we slammed back in, and then we had some volatility there. Yeah, I'm more than willing to hit it with a lot more. But yeah.
I mean, you took it, man. Be happy for what you got. That's a nice little move there. Sure. One trade on the day. Rock and roll on that one. I mean, we've taken 3, and they haven't worked out here for us. So I'd take that one trade all day if I took that USO trade. I mean, silver still climbing a little bit higher. Market's still choppy. I mean, ask for the pulse 1600, right? Like, buy the dip, fade the pop, both of those things. So, like, we just dip and then you buy it and it just buys right back up to essentially the volume weighted average price on the NASDAQ here, guys. So not too much really going on. You had that little bit of an increase in volatility, and then sure enough, it's like it never existed. So you'll just be buying the dip on it, and the market rebounds pretty aggressively. USO starting to find somewhat of a rebound, both slightly climbing higher. But yeah, I'm waiting for a good opportunity here. Are we going to head back lower in the TQQs? If I go short the market, essentially we're looking at USO to climb a little bit higher. So what's going on, Mike P, the rider? Let me know what you guys did here today. Did you go short? Did you go long? Did you buy the dip? I know a lot of us were voting, so let's see what the narrative has been on today's session.
There it is.
There it goes. Yeah, there it goes. A nice, yeah, there it is. Oh, whoa, there's the volatility spike right there, Obi. Nice, a big time move lower to 139. So you hit that dollar just like that as you had that strong aggressive pop in the NASDAQ. So let's see if he said anything. Volume stepping in, a nice volatility spike, and that's exactly what we were expecting, especially when this first started. So let's be patient and see what we got going on. Oh, that was interesting. Oh, okay, it's just me. That was you, Fabian, over there. All right, guys. Yeah, let me see. Who is that? It was you? Oh, I keep hearing something in my ear. I don't know what it is. Yeah, uh-oh. That's not good. Maybe I'm hearing stuff. Anyways, aside from that, guys, volatility spike, volume stepping in, USO to the downside. Are we continuing on it? Nice rebound. So be prepared, guys, for these spikes. And you don't want to get caught offside. You want to stick to that stop and get out just in case it continues to go against you.
Yes, sir. So yeah, that bit of a volatility spike there, but already sitting a little bit short. I'll get out of the rest right there. So, yeah, look at that. The dip just got bought right back up. So aggressive dip down into this area here that I mentioned, 139s, 139.20s, and support steps right back in. So I'm like, all right, cool. Done with that one. So, got a little bit lucky with part of the position, got that swipe down, got some exits in and around that swipe down 139.20s. So, it is what it is. Didn't have I guess, full size either. And I did talk about maybe potentially being able to take more on the hold of that 139.80s, but it is what it is. Always can be a little bit better with some of these quick little scalps. And, you get lucky sometimes with those swipes as well, especially if they're in the direction that I'm already sitting in. But thank you. Come again. I am not going to be, especially after I see this candle, that absorption pretty much of the swipe back down into prior day's highs. I'm going to wait for more information for that one, but 140 is potentially coming right back in here on USO. Let me know how you guys are holding up here with this here volatility. We'll see what you guys are up to as well. Alexander saying Netflix. I don't know if Netflix is the best vehicle right now in this with what's happening on the market here. People posting some funny stuff on Twitter at the same time. So let's see. What is this? YOU. Who is this? Clear Secure. Interesting. So this has a news article right now. YOU. Okay, that's nothing crazy though right now. But yeah, there's 140 once again on USO. So good thing pieced out of that one for now. Maybe seller step right back in, but I have no idea. We'll wait and see. Especially after if we slap down like that and then bid right back up, that's pretty aggressive, and that is a stair step up on top of morning structure. So that's also a little piece of information. We talk about this crazy candle that we had in the morning session around 10:30. That was pretty much kind of capitulation. Look at the volume bar. Even this spike down, the volume bar is not as high as this one from the morning session. And that was very capitulatory. And then buyers told us who's in charge after that. Guess what? Buyers still very much in charge on top of some of those levels coming in now. So there's 140.10s on USO. Market bids right back up to where it was on pre-flush, and we're kind of catching a bit of a chop here. So back into opening ranges. So nothing crazy in terms of any sort of a follow through on the NASDAQ or the ES as of right now, Joe.
Good luck. All right, let's see if we can get this short rocking and rolling right at VWAP. If it breaks through this, then we get out of Dodge, right? We're in at 76s. We give this 20 cents to 96s, and then we get out of it. So let's see if this will come into play and we get this continuation. Hegseth, Pete, really giving him the nod there. I guess it's part of his job to glaze, as the kids would like to typically say. Let's see what we got going on, man. If this trade doesn't work, then maybe it's like, hey, we're not gonna get anything rocking and rolling, which is unfortunate. And it is what it is, because tomorrow's going to be a new day. So let's see if we can get that breakdown back towards the low of the day. OB's all out of USO. So, I mean, let's see, man. Breakdown here. Nice continuation. Would have liked to get a little bit better of a price, 10 cents to be exact, because then my risk could have been a little bit tighter with more shares. But slowly starting to sell off, and that's what we're looking for. I hear Katina Man punching keys over there as well. Sean short Intel. Let's see what he's got going on here on INTC. See if that's going to drag the market. Nice, probably from the 50s, 60s area. Is exactly the price in which Katina Man is short Intel off that pop, and then now continuing to bleed its own blood. So a nice little look. Let's go T triple Qs. See if we can wait till 50s before we take anything off on this OB. But first things first, we need to start selling before we can look for that $43, $50 price range for our potential first take profit. NVDA slowly starting to curl over as well. Google was strong. I know we were talking about it putting in a new high of the day, but some indecision prints off of the highs here. Let's see if this starts to sell off. Same thing with Microsoft here. But if Google decides to go oppo and put in a new HOD, then it's we're in a little bit of trouble. And same thing here. If we decide to climb a little bit higher in NVDA, then it's just like, yeah, we might have to get out of this. Nice. Oh, Gorb, look at this. Look at that on the 3-minute. Nice indecision print right there on the 3-minute. What is the 5-minute telling us? Relatively the same thing, but still some selling pressure within this. So you have to continue to monitor that. But that's not bad, man. That's not bad. I typically don't go off of indecision prints on the 3-minute. More or less just the 1 and the 5. The 1 and the 5 is what I built my algos off of. So, Mike Peter Ryder, getting a lot of messages. Katina, man, Mike Peter Ryder getting a lot of messages deleted here today. I don't know. I mean, Katina man's not bad, but anyways, aside from that, bless you, Ramin. We're looking for some next opportunities. Obi, do you have any more game plan? You had that short, you locked in some profits, you got all out, I'm assuming, as it started to climb a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And then what are you thinking here for the next potential trade, like maybe another move back lower on another volatility spike? Or are we going to head towards the low of the day in the market? That will probably put USO north of 141 now, is it?
It's almost there. It's getting back. So it got all the way back up. So 140.75s was that next level that I'm interested in. And look at that. It gets a strong absorption there on that spike down. Buyers step right back in. And then there's follow through as well. So yeah, exactly. Good reasons to buy here as well post that flush down and then pulling right back up into 140.75. So yeah, maybe that 141 potentially coming in here. This was the pre-market high from prior trading session on Thursday. You can see here we did kind of attempt to break that by about roughly 10 pennies, I think. Yeah, 10 pennies. 75s are marked as the highs. Yeah, so roughly 10 pennies as the current day high is around 140.82s. So we'll wait and see what happens in and around this level. But yeah, buyers definitely very much in charge here on USO as it just does a bit of continuation, right? We've been talking about how oil's been stepping up higher and higher. And if it stays in trend, yeah, sure, USO can definitely see some 150s. Even if we look at crude oil, now some of my charts here are going to be slightly delayed, but we can take a look at this as well, right? So if we're coming into some of those prior days levels, potentially, 115s, 119s maybe on watch, right? On watch. So again, this one's delayed, I think, by about 10 minutes. That is delayed by 10 minutes. Yeah, okay, cool. So we're 10 minutes behind roughly on this one, and you can see that most of the volatility that we have been getting has been in the past 10 minutes. So got to be patient for that data to come in, or if you have a live feed as well, which we do. Yeah, got to be watching that one close at the same time. You can see here from the camera in the back. You can see I'm watching the conference happening right now on my top screen at the same time. Yeah, keep you guys updated on any sort of significant things that are said for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's see. We got a little bit of a downtick, man. I keep running into these 1-to-1s, but I understand that sometimes you have to take what the market gives you, but come on, give your boy a nice 2-to-1 here and head into that 50s, 56s. So let's be a little bit more patient. If USO continues to climb, IBIT looking like it wants to head a little bit lower. We need NVDA to start selling off as well. Apple's starting to curl over as well too, guys. So I'll pull up. Take a look at the mag here. NVDA, this thing is a hot, choppy mess at times. And you know what? Okay, let's run things back a little bit here. So I remember when I first started trading, I just ran the most basic scan. It's like anything over 1 million shares, pull it up, right? Let's see what we got going on. And I ended up trading Apple quite often in my first year. And not even, anyways. Leading to the point is that NVDA and Apple are most likely going to always put in 1 million shares before that 8:30 mark, right? Or that 9 o'clock mark through your scan. But just because the floats are so large and the market capitalization is so large on these two names that it takes a long time for that ship to turn around. And I use the cruise ship and the speedboat analogy. Like you have the lower float names quicker to turn around, but the Apples and the NVDAs chop around a lot and need substantially more capital because of the weighting of them and how large the market cap is in order for them to move. So I actually, around like month like 6 or 7, I'm like, I no longer am trading Apple due to these specific reasons. And I very, very rarely trade AAPL. Very rarely. Outside of earnings, it's just not something that I particularly do. And I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, but do I need to do some form of due diligence to see like, hey, do we have to kind of categorize it in the same realm as AAPL? Now, where we're sitting on from a daily perspective, right? This is just me spitting what the thoughts of my brain is sensing to you guys. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Have I been wrong? Absolutely. But I think it's good for us to take these things into consideration, that it's important to figure out when these larger names, i.e. the NVDAs and the AAPLs, are in play, and you're looking for a breakout when you're sitting in this. I mean, you get the ups and downs, but the price action a little bit more difficult to navigate, for me, that is, right? And this is just me speaking my book, essentially. So, yeah. That's how I feel about it at times. We took the trade, but it hasn't done much here today. And if you don't have the larger participants really starting to step in, it makes things a little bit more difficult for that asset to move. And that's when you get these really, really choppy type sessions, and they can definitely get you frustrated because it needs a lot of capital to move the underlying asset.
Well, for sure, man. There's definitely a lot of dollar volume required to be moving any of these large caps, to be honest.
Yeah, man.
But, yeah, just watching this USO. So interestingly enough, we came into that 75 and a little bit of selling coming in there. Just observing it, being patient to see if these levels actually hold and if they're confirming to hold their current day high 140.83s. So we did kind of technically hold that 140.75 level. Now pulling back into those 140 halves. So still holding higher highs and higher lows technically. Just gonna be patient. They're still not done talking, so I think it's just now just a patience game, waiting for them to step off of the podium and then see if the market does anything in reaction to that as well, to potentially exercise the next trading idea. But yeah, this area, I don't necessarily want to get involved here if we're just going to chop. Sure, it's about a 70 penny area, but I'll wait and see. I could definitely take another stab at this here for a potential pullback into 140s, but where's the next trade that I think, in my opinion, is definitely higher, I guess, expected value. I have no idea, but I'm going to be patient and wait right there. You can see that spike right back up towards those highs there, 140.60s. So,
Neil, did you do
interesting stuff here on USO. Let's see what else is going on. What are you guys?
Did you do
what
that?
Are you guys
change the background.
Trading here on the day? Are you talking about the chart there?
No, they changed the background.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I like the other one, Fabian, to be honest with you. Yeah. But I mean, it's both.
We got a nice, what is that, cityscape there, Toronto cityscape. Nice, good stuff there on that. Let's take a look at some of the names that we were watching earlier. Yeah, the thing is, I don't necessarily trade Apple that much either, but when it shows up, and if it shows up as in play, like on a day like earnings or something like that, or if it's technically showing up like it did today, for sure, I should definitely be getting involved, but didn't really. That was a miss on my part, not being involved with Apple. There were a couple other names that were, I guess there were okay reversions, but Apple probably the best one on the day here. And still on Tesla, no real sign of bouncing. Again, this one is the only Mag 7 that is doing this right now. So when things are doing or behaving in ways that are distinctly different, I do want to keep very close eyes on them, and Tesla's definitely one of them. But no sign of a real bounce just yet. If anything, just sellers stepping in with even more aggression. And we saw more of that happen with the market. The market recovered back into its range highs, but Tesla, no real recovery on any sort of a bid there. Sure, there's some scalps to be had for potential pushes back towards VWAP, but dominance is very much held today by sellers here on Tesla. So being patient, waiting for the next opportunity here. You guys let me know what you guys think the next opportunity for you all are. SKYQ, is that continuing to go? I know that was SKYQ. I know that was a thing last week. Okay, cool. Yeah, some aggressive volume on SKYQ with a continuation to the upside. So I think they might be starting to do questions soon, maybe, perhaps. But Trump is back on the mic as of right now. So be patient and wait to see if there's any other opportunities that do show up. TQ short working very nicely.
Yeah, it's working. We're looking for a little bit more for a break of that 43 level. See if we get it, though. I got to keep an eye on USO, even though, I mean, it's not going to move it. It's more or less the Mag 7. We need a breakdown in NVDA and some of the other names. There are some prints that display you might get a little bit lower. There it goes. All right, let's go. If we pick up that momentum, we're prepared to take some out right here at 57s. That'll be our 2-to-1 right there. And that's what you need. That's what we're waiting for. We don't want to get too ahead of, but there it is, 43.60s, a strong support. And if we don't continue this breakdown and NVDA continues to chop, it's going to make our lives significantly more difficult. Apple finding somewhat of a rebound as well, too, guys. Google, how you've been performing, slight uptick as well. So, yeah, keep an eye on the Mag 7 and the mega cap names in order for us to see if we're going to get this move, or we have to be prepared to take some off at a 1-to-1. 3 times we hit a 1-to-1 here today, and I'm like, let's wait for that 2-to-1 to see if we got anything really, really cooking up for us here on this specific trade. But a bounce in the supply zone starting to come into effect. So we'll be patient. Let's go over Robinhood, 69.75. Name has been getting absolutely destroyed, man. It's not good, obviously. They need to decouple from the crypto trade, in my opinion. I understand that a lot of individuals traded on that platform, but you have the gold membership. You have Vlad Tenev wanting to tokenize private equities, even though I don't even know if that's going to matter in the span. It's just people want that early exposure to SpaceX, the Anthropics, and the OpenAIs. If they all go public, then it's like, okay, what else is that next private thing? That the big private, obviously there's a lot of private equity, but what is that next big thing? And I think the most anticipated ones are those three, and they all plan on going public at some point. SpaceX maybe being one of the earlier ones. We know Elon Musk extremely optimistic and doesn't really care about timelines. He'll spit anything at you and say, yeah, it's coming now at this point. So they filed for it. Let's see if we get it sooner rather than later. And same with the Anthropic story as well, too. We asked for Claude. How are you liking it? You use it? Is it your primary? How do you feel in the world of these like LLM and AI tools?
Sorry, what was the question? Claude for what?
Claude, just like, do you like it more than ChatGPT?
No, I canceled my GPT subscription a few months ago now.
Okay.
Just been maining Claude at home. I like the way the co-work really works on your computer. But yeah, Claude is I think much better for what I'm trying to do. Been working on, I say, a few algo ideas as well, and it's great. You know, it's kind of like vibe coding, coming up with different strategies, observing certain behaviors happen, and then quantifying those behaviors.
Can plug Claude directly into TradingView now.
I saw that this morning. So gonna be working a little bit with
and it
that
takes
as
the
well.
code from TradingView and then translates it into Claude, and then you can like do it. I mean, you don't want to ask it the basic stuff like, oh, where is it going, but like more or less for analysis and like a quantitative approach and being like, hey.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have like a crystal ball, right?
Exactly.
But you can feed it different stats for different strategies, and really, kind of add confluence to any sort of ideas and trades that you may already have in your playbook. And the great thing about Claude as well is that it actually connects to your Notion. So that's what, again, kind of really benefiting with some of that, because now I have a few years worth of journals on Notion that I've been keeping, and now it's able to go through all of them, give me some analysis, give me some feedback about certain things. And that's why you see me not like trading as much throughout the day, because now I just like I have a good idea of what I'm good at, what kind of opportunities I should really be waiting for, and where to participate. And sure, I'm still going to have the occasional fumble here and there, but that's the idea, right? I want to try to reduce that as much as possible here.
So with your journal, like you plugged it in, is it telling you like from a time frame standpoint which strategy is essentially like, is it pulling the data that you want it to pull from you to see like if you can become more efficient?
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's like I'll ask it certain questions about like what time of the day certain things tend to happen, or after what kind of mood or mindset. I have my sleep scores and everything in there as well. So obviously more reiteration of what I already know. On good sleep, I perform better. When I have a better sleep score, I perform better. So just honing that stuff in. I mean, I already you already had that stat, but it's just nice to have it as like an all-inclusive.
I used to have a trading platform, or a platform that you literally just take the file and you plug it into the trade log, it's called, and it literally gave you every statistic that you ever needed. Time of day that you're the most profitable, going long or short, and they actually discontinued the website going long or short, which equities you're the most profitable. So it was a pretty good tool, in my opinion.
I mean, you can just make that now.
You can make that, but why
you can tell Claude to be like, hey, make me a standalone.
But you need to be able to extract the file from.
Exactly. So you teach it how to read the file, right? So P8 gives us. You can download a certain thing. You don't even have to probably give it too much.
It's like the CSV file.
Yeah, you're just like, read this CSV. It has its timestamps. It'll probably know how to read it much better than I do. And you can just be like, all right, these are the things I want a report back of, and it'll just do that for you. So that's a beautiful world that we live in. If you have great ideas, you can definitely make it much easier on yourself to execute said ideas. As of right now, 140 half, so we're just chopping around the zone here on USO. President's still talking, so I'm kind of staying a bit hands off. But 140 holding up quite well, consolidating, stair-stepping higher. Taking a look at some of the other names we were watching, you can see that Apple continues to sell off here. Bit of continuation, and then I guess Amazon as well, now coming into the low of its consolidation from this morning, from majority of the day here. What's up, Sia?
Certain comments from the press conference here, U.S. President Donald Trump saying that the Iranians would be willing to suffer for infrastructure for freedom, and that Iranians should rise up, but the consequences are great. Market is currently in the green. It took a dip in just a couple minutes ago, but back in the green. Sending it back to you.
Yeah, Trump back on the back.
Yeah, he's back on the mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's back on the podium. So this guy, he's back. He's not going anywhere. Right now, so he's talking a little bit more here, guys. We'll talk to it. We got a minute left here. We want to make sure that we're on time for the boys, because Katina Man's already giving me a hard time about that one. So we'll see what we got going on. This TQ short started to work for us there, guys. Just south of the volume weighted average price, we take some off, and now we're going to wait to see if we can hold our last little 20% into 50, and then we'll get all out of that trade. So not too bad of a look whatsoever, and a solid opportunity. You only had one trade on the day, Obi. So far. Wait for the close, the imbalances to come out as well too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, maybe something. I mean, it's not every day that something good that's worth taking will show up on the close as well, right? So wait and see where the next opportunity is. But I will have close eyes on this USO. You can see another leg to the upside here. So the follow through from those buyers is definitely coming in here, and we're getting that bigger picture daily breakout follow through as well. So that's trending to the upside on USO. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 145s, 150s if this trend continues on USO soon enough. So we talked about that multi-month breakout that it was experiencing, and the follow through has been absolutely phenomenal on this name.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a good session.
That's good.
3 hours. Hopefully you guys had a great time today here on the midday. But the party's not over, Joe.
It's not over.
It's
just getting started. No, I don't have Instagram, dear Ollie. I'm sorry, my friend. Never had it. But yeah. 2 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
One trade, 1-for-1, shooting 100% clip rate there for Obi. We got the TQ short working for us right now. We're going to hit this as the boys are prepared to the right of us to get rocking and rolling. We're now 30 seconds over Obi. How dare we? Let's see what the boys got going on there. Have a good one, guys.
Great midday show. Thank you very much, guys. There.